You, I, and we can appreciate the work and the beauty and the artistic and what it takes, and we can sit there. But most people that haven't done it, they just can't appreciate it. And then I just think people are spoiled now with entertainment
because it's not as much about the talent. It's who has the most followers. They're the ones who are getting all the sponsorships, that sort of thing. Whereas the athletes, like if they don't have a massive following, companies aren't going to support them.
And honestly, I can't understand. I think this is a great opportunity to become a star.
Yeah.
To become a star, to become a memorizable. Like if you have creativity, if you have some background, especially now, there's so many dancers, performers, like, I don't know. It's just amazing opportunity. You have 2 minutes on stage. You can do whatever you want. You have no restrictions like in bodybuilding and other divisions where you can do backflip, you can do anything, just posing, right? In fitness, you're welcome.
But it's not a bad thing to sit there and decide, I also want to do something with my fitness, my business in that. You've got to find that talent, which is what you girls have got, the skill to get on stage, to compete. But that's an individual art that then you need to bring it into a business element.
They're taking athletes and they're putting that kind of focus on them, and things can get twisted and like add pressure as well. You're just adding pressure to these athletes, and it's like, this person's coming up, or this person's going to do a pro show, this person's going to compete at this show, and then it immediately directs everyone's attention onto that. Now it's not for the enjoyment of it, it's like, I've got to actually do well for these people. And I just see that so you need to do it for yourself.
Never be, you were doing it, if that's your goal, out of a hobby, having fun, having a goal. Like, you need to get out there and have fun with this. Don't say, I have to go to the gym. You get to go to the gym. Like,
what should she do on off season? What's the best advice for the off season?
Off season?
The off season, preparing for something. How do you stay motivated?
There is no off season, I think. No
it's always on. Always on. No.
Hey guys, not to take up too much of your time and to allow us to get straight into this podcast, allow me to thank my sponsors, Macro Foodz. You can go to macrofoods.com.au and use code MTP10 to get 10% off. And Nutrition Warehouse, your number one supplement store. Go to nutritionwarehouse.com.au. You can use code MTP15 to get 15% off. All this is below in our description. A legend in the fitness and bodybuilding as one of the most influential athletes our industry has ever seen. Monica joins us on the podcast to celebrate an incredible journey that has spanned over 30 years. From her unforgettable win at the 1998 Fitness Olympia, correct me if anything gets wrong because I can't trust AI all the time or myself, to her legacy in the world champion and global ambassador for women in fitness. Monica has set a standard that continues to inspire every generation. Her physique, her presence, and her professionalism has placed her on the covers of more than obviously hundreds of magazines and makes her one of the most recognizable faces in the sport. Monica has shaped the industry through her competition success, her coaching, her media presence, and her commitment to elevate the sport for women everywhere. Oksana Grishina, one of the greatest performers and champions in the history of women's fitness. Oksana joins me on this podcast.
She's laughing.
Why's she laughing?
Oksana Grishina.
Did I get it wrong again? Oksana? Oksana. Oksana or Oskana? Which one is it, Chris? Oksana. Did I say Oskana? Oh my God, the Russians are coming to get me. I'm scared. You know what's funny? When you hear a Russian talk in Russian, they sound so eloquent, like, beautiful, like, and when they speak English.
Come on. Everyone's talk, when they hear Russian talking to each other, it looks like we're swearing, we're arguing.
Well, let me tell you, when you guys talk English,
we're just talking.
When you guys talk English, it sounds like the mafia. Like, oh my God, are they going to ask me for money? I don't know what. All right. Sorry, how did I get this wrong? Oksana obviously joins us on the podcast, that redefined what artistic expression, athleticism, and stage presence could look like on a competitive fitness stage. Her career is filled with monumental achievements, including 4 Fitness Olympia titles and a legacy of routines. Again, correct me if 5. There you go. See, it's AI, 5, yes. But you correct me. And a woman will always correct a man. Just remember that. Oksana's ability to merge strength, flexibility, power, and storytelling has placed her in a category of her own. She herself has featured in many magazine covers, inspired the entire generation of athletes, and elevated the standard of performance in the fitness division to an entirely new level. Now, Abby, we're going to try to top this all up with these two girls. Let's go, Abby. We'll give it a go. A rising star, a powerhouse in professional fitness. Yes. Abby Bolton joins me again on the podcast as one of Canadian's standout competitors, known for her dedication, precision, and inspiring stage presence. Abby has earned recognition in the pro fitness world and continues to make waves internationally. From her early competitions and her professional achievements, Abby has demonstrated not only exceptional athleticism, but also the discipline, the mindset that defines champions. Her performance reflects a blend of strength, artistry, and the passion that sets her apart in the fitness arena. Was that okay, Abby? How was that one?
Oh, that was beautifully said.
And now Isabel. Well, there's not much to say about Isabel. She's only 22. No, Isabel.
You should know me by now.
Strength, athleticism. Isabel Fagan.
It's obviously very formal.
It's very formal, I know. Professional figure bodybuilder and accomplished powerlifter, known for her incredible dedication, discipline, and strength. Isabel has proven that combining performance and physique is an art form itself. Her achievements in the powerlifting arena, paired with her success in pro figure stage, showcases a rare blend of raw strength and sculpture elegance. Isabel has inspired athletes, demonstrated the hard work, consistency, and passion that can redefine what it means to be a champion. Welcome, girls.
Thank you.
That's it. The podcast is done. The podcast is done. We have done it. All right. So
Easy schmeezy.
All right. So tell me about your day, girls. Monica, you've just been at the gym, have you?
Well, first of all, Steve, thank you for that. The introduction always, you're going to make me get a little teary-eyed. It's, 31 years right now. So it's been a long time and a lot of experiences and a lot of incredible people and opportunities along the way. And so thank you for that honor of introduction. And so, yes, thank you. Yes, today's been a good day. Had some devotional time this morning with my husband. And then I sat and wrote and worked on a book that I'm putting together through my devotionals, Faith and Fitness. And then I got to go to the gym and get a good workout in with my husband there. That was fun. I taught him a couple new moves today. So, yeah. And then here we are. It's been a good day.
Okay. And what about you, Abby?
Pretty chill day overall, mainly just the gym. I only work Monday through Thursday, so Fridays are kind of just like a clean up, catch up kind of day, and then just training. So a lot of training. So it's cardio in the morning, some handstand work in the morning, and then I actually, just before this podcast, went and got my lift in. So that was the day today.
Yeah. And Oksana?
There you go.
Oh, no, don't worry. The whole podcast is gonna be like that.
Besides, I'm working 24 hours as mom.
Yeah.
But of course, I work out every day when I can, when my husband staying with Ivan. And this morning I did cardio. He let me do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but I have my bicycle at home, so I always do cardio when I can. Yes, and well, that's pretty much it. I have trouble, by the way, sleeping. I don't know, maybe it's my job because I have being promoter for the show, especially in Russia, in such a difficult country. It's very stressful. So, and I have trouble sleeping, but my boy sleeping fine, 24 hours, 2 times a day. Wow. I'm like, oh my God, any mom will be very jealous, but me personally, I can't, I have problems sleeping. So, but when you guys start talking, you can't believe. I was like, I started getting sleep. This is like therapy. I didn't even know it, You start talking and it was so relief. I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect time.
Well, yes, not only will mums be jealous, they'll be angry with you. Because firstly, they're jealous that your child sleeps and angry at the fact that you're not sleeping. Like they're thinking, what are you doing to yourself?
Yes. Anyway, I'm so honored to be here, especially celebrating Monica 31 year, right? It's wow, it's just oh my God, I can't believe. I still remember how I watched Monica on TV in back in Russia and on some DVDs. And yeah, I was like, wow, I saw pictures, posters of Monica. I'm like, oh my God, this body is incredible. I will never be like that, but I can try my own way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monica was in every gym in Russia, in guys lock room.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yes, so I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Did you do much this morning?
Oksana.
Did you do much this morning, Dizzy?
No, not really. I went and got coffee before this.
Coffee, yeah. No, Izzy's got a Christmas party later, so I guess all of her fitness goals through the year are going to be blown up at the Christmas parties, guys. So, she's. I told her at 22 she can let go for a night. Go and have a good time, you know what I mean?
Yes, go have a good time.
Go have a good time. I was actually, it's the long game, and I think it's a good little segue in, and I think that's the thing with Izzy 22, Abby as well being so young as well. I mean, not to say I'm definitely the oldest here, but I think the love affair for the gym and for bodybuilding, and I guess competing. And Monica, this will be something we can ask you here. Sometimes we all forget to check in along the way, and I think we forget that why we do this sport, bodybuilding, and why it's important to us and why we love it. And I think if we don't hold it as longevity, we can't go back and look like we did in our 20s, but we can definitely look our best today and represent the sport to say, yeah, I am a bodybuilder. Yes, I am. In a sense, you girls are still professionals in your sport. But a lot of people I've noticed when I look back at them in the days that they had everything for them, they just threw it away very early. Like, what I'm trying to say? Even the discipline of the diet, the discipline of training. And that's not even with the stage. That's not even with the stardom. It's the discipline itself. So I want to ask you, Monica, when you started the journey, I mean, you can't predict the future, but did you know that you'd be still so relevant and apparent today in this sport?
Wow, just first of all, Stephen, that's like great thoughts, right? And I'm right behind you. I just turned 55. So, and what I do now is similar but different, to what obviously I did when I was younger. And Izzy, I started my journey at 1991. I was 20, and I was an athlete. So I grew up competing in all kinds of athletic stuff. All the time, and state level. And so I've been a competitor athletically, never cheerleading, never gymnastics, never dance. So fitness, when I found out about it, was like, ooh, but it was so different back then too. We didn't have the Oksanas. And it sounds like the Abbeys, and probably you. Like, fitness back then was really different. We just had to showcase strength, flexibility, and people were doing walkovers and push-ups and jumping jacks on stage. Like, it was not completely what you guys are doing now. But it still was something out of my comfort zone. So I had no idea when I got involved with fitness in 1990, weight training, 89, 90, 1991, I saw one advertisement. And this is kind of an interesting thought too, because I literally saw one magazine feature and saw a page in the magazine that said, it might have been like Muscle Mag International or something, and maybe Muscle and Fitness, I don't know, but I'm assuming it was Muscle Mag International because they did a lot with the fitness that was new, because fitness really started in 1987. So in 1991, that's not a lot of years had gone by, but they had just had a national competition, and a girl named Marla Duncan won, and I saw one page of an advertisement that you could buy a VHS tape to see what the shows were about. And they had a list of maybe upcoming, remember, there's no websites back then, no internet. So I could ordered the VHS tape, and I think there was a list of maybe upcoming shows. And so one page and maybe 2 pages on the actual competition that were just pictures. And it looked like interesting to me. And I was like, so, normally they say you have to have like so many exposures, maybe up to 12 exposures of something before you'll buy it, potentially, maybe in like a hard sale of something, maybe 5 or 6, sometimes 3 or 4, but usually more than 1. Well, I had 1 exposure to 1 magazine in 1991, and I had no idea what this bodybuilding industry was. I knew nothing about bodybuilding, no family member. In fact, my mom told me a couple of years prior in high school that I was not allowed to go to the gym because that's where men picked up women, girls. And I was not allowed to go to the gym. So I am now in college, my first year of college, and I was supporting myself and living on my own. So, I had freedom to do what I want. So I literally had that 1 exposure. I don't know. I guess there was probably a number you could call, because again, no website to go, app to download or anything. And I called the number and I ordered the VHS tape. I probably had to send a check in because I don't think I had a credit card back then.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I said, I got the VHS tape. Hopefully Izzy, you and Abby know what a VHS tape is. It's about this big. It goes in a slot.
It's basically the size of your handbag, and then you slide it in something that's the size of your cupboard.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like another little TV. Anyways, so I watched that, and I thought that looked like fun, and the story goes from there. But 1 exposure, I had no idea what I was getting involved in, and I really had no idea that I would do multiple shows. And then at 24, moved to California when I knew 2 people in California. I had no clue what I was doing out there. So Steve, I had no clue about any of this. And it was an opportunity that God allowed me to walk down. He protected me through. Did I make all the right decisions? Probably not. A lot of things that I wish I could redo, but ultimately it's led me to here, and I've had a wonderful, amazing journey. There's been more than millions of people that I've interacted with now, obviously because of the internet, and traveled all around the world. I've gone to so many countries making guest appearances in the past. And I don't know how different the industry is now for, say, someone like Oksana versus, when I was hot and heavy doing guest appearances, most weekends. If I wasn't competing, I was doing guest appearances, but I don't know if that still exists for the industry now. I just don't know. But that was a long story there. But 1 exposure, and I was 20 when I did my first show. And it wasn't NPC or IFBB. It was a whole nother organization, because only bodybuilding existed for IFBB and NPC at that time.
Wow. Before I get the transition over where we went from VHS to DVD to memory card, whatever it's called, what, let's go with you, Oksana. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a long show. Yourself, being in Russia, and we know your story, you were a gymnast as well. A little bit maybe how you got exposed to it, and I'll go around the room. Abby will next, and then obviously Izzy. We'll get to the start, and then we'll work our way through to now. But how did you discover fitness? Why choose that division as well, which I'll go back. Hey guys, Steve here. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. You know the drill. We'd love you to subscribe. We'd love you to hit the notification bell. Why? It gets us out there, allows us to go and get bigger, better, greater. We've already had some great guests, as you know, but we want to continue this. We want to continue this journey with you. So if you could, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're notified each time we put up a new podcast. Thank you for allowing me to take you away from the podcast. Let's get back to it. Oh, actually, before we go there, what made you choose fitness then? Since yes, Oksana, yeah.
I was always gymnast, you know that. So, and of course, after gymnastics, like, you know, girls, that we got higher degrees very early, like at 12, 13, 14, nobody needs you anymore. like you're done. I don't know,
Wow.
maybe now it's a little different, like maybe some girls in Russia, because it's very selective. So when you're 15, that's it. You are old. You are old for gymnastics to compete at the national level. But I notice it's a little bit different in the United States. Girls even older, they still can compete, but not in Russia. So can you imagine at 14 years old, I have so much knowledge in gymnastics, so much passion. I just got into the sport with
That's
my
right.
feelings.
Oh,
yes. But you're done. You're old. So you just have to go to university and do whatever you want. So, of course, I remember this day I was crying at home. I was crying. I couldn't hold it. And my dad came home and he said, "Oh my God, what's wrong? Why my daughter is crying?" And I was watching pictures from gymnastics, from competition, and I just feel like I will never be there anymore. Like that's it, what I can do, because it's all my life. I don't have any boyfriends. I don't have any life experience, only sport. So, and kind of pretty quickly, I found fitness just from TV. I started work as a coach in school of Tchaikovsky school, musical school, as choreographer. So I started to focus more on study, being a professional coach, choreographer, so everything I could. But when I started to training, I hated bodybuilding, just so you know. I hated muscles and all these bodybuilders guys. I'm like, that. I was like, disgusting. I thought it's ugly.
Well, tell us what you really think at the beginning there.
Yes, I'm telling you truth, because I remember as a gymnast, we had some concerts. So concerts, like let's say it's concert on the water. Yep. Sorry for my English. Nope. And there was all discipline, like rhythmic gymnastics, synchron swimming, and there was group of bodybuilders. There was also did some performance there. And when they did this performance, I was like, oh my God, that's how I saw muscles. I'm like, this is so disgusting. And but my body was muscular. I was muscular. So like all my gymnastics career, I was struggling with these muscles. I was wrapping up myself with some something.
I think when we spoke about that, I think when we spoke on our podcast, I do recall, firstly, you were a late bloomer to everything, and then it suddenly had to finish. But yes, it was a little bit you were not comfortable being so muscular because you were muscular.
Yes. And probably because I had problems with my muscles, I hated bodybuilding. So I hated guys bodybuilding. I have never seen girls bodybuilders, so just guys. So, but when I accept, oh my God, I'm not that ugly, I'm not that bad. And my dad was always telling, your body is beautiful. Yeah. You're not skinny like your teammates, girls. You are beautiful. You have volume. This is sexy. This is very beautiful. So when I start to understand, I was like, yes, why I'm always like, I will never be skinny as my dream was. I should accept it. So when I accept it, I start to work out and I see reaction and I start to like it. So of course I start to respect the sport more. It's not easy. It's hard work. And then I wanted to know more about girls bodybuilders, so that's how I saw these photos and posters. I started to notice, wow, this girl looks beautiful, like Monica, other girls. I'm like, oh my God. So that's how I become in love in bodybuilding. So this issue with bodybuilders was because I couldn't accept myself as I am. So finally, I'm a huge fan of bodybuilding. 5-time Fitness Olympia.
Yes.
This is so funny. Yes, but my first experience in United States, I remember when I moved to United States, we went to Arnold Classic. I met Monica Brant. I was with my husband. I saw Monica Brant she was with girl on the booth, and I was speechless, and I couldn't speak English. I was like, I remember I gave her my picture just to show her my picture from competition, what she's gonna say. And she's like, wow, this is so good. You look so good. It was world championship, and I was so lean. And I remember your reaction was like, this is too much. Like,
back then,
yes,
right?
yes. It was my first meeting Monica Brant, and she was probably the first one who I came to just to get signature. Of course, we couldn't talk because I didn't speak English. None, zero. So yes, but I got pictures. I have to find these pictures with Monica. This will be awesome. So because back then there was photo, not like phones, but just regular.
Just the camera.
Cameras. Yeah, just the camera.
What year was that, Oksana?
2007.
Yep.
So so I must have competed that year.
Yes, because you were in shape. Yes, you were great. It was 2007, but I got lucky to compete with you I don't remember what year you competed in figure. Probably it was your last year competing in figure, and I was in fitness, and we all like, oh my God, I compete, and Monica Brant competing.
Wow, I'm getting goosebumps to think about it. How good is that, huh?
Yes, I was like, wow, yeah, it was amazing being backstage, see Monica Brant, it's just, it's amazing journey, amazing memory, Well, I have never competed with Abby, right? Abby,
so
we haven't.
No, we were Olympia 2022 would have been.
Oh my
but
God.
you got injured that year. So you were there, like I saw you at the athlete meet and greet, and you still were undecided if you were going to step on stage, and then unfortunately,
well, let's go with that. Let's go with Abby now. Abby, your introduction to fitness, and please get us to this story. So go ahead.
Like kind of how I got into fitness.
Yeah. Everybody is. I want to know because women are probably wondering themselves about the sport and getting into it. I feel when we got questions, but go ahead.
Yeah.
And start what year, Abby?
Yeah,
what year did you get started? Yes. Tell us what year.
2017 was my first competition. So I was 19 years old. I was a competitive gymnast, track and field. I did gymnastics up until grade 12. Went away to university and I ran track first year. Didn't fully, I loved track and field, but it didn't fully satisfy that competitive, I don't know if it was just lacking that difficulty that kind of gymnastics had, but so I ended up meeting some people in the gym because I started weightlifting, or I got my first membership during end of grade 12, and me and my brother would go all the time. Met a couple people in the gym who were into bodybuilding. They were competing, and that was kind of my first introduction to the bodybuilding world. And they kind of planted the seed in my head. So kind of after first year university, I was like, okay, you know what? This track and field thing isn't satisfying me. Let's give this bodybuilding thing a try. And at this point, I had no idea what the fitness division was. And then I met my first coach, Mindy O'Brien. So I was with her for the first 6 years of my career. She was absolutely phenomenal. She's still a really, really good, dear friend of mine. And I learned so much from her. So as soon as I linked up with her, she was like, you're a gymnast? Well, you have to do fitness. And I was like, what is this whole fitness thing? And so
she's amazing, yes.
And she's the most incredible human being. So I started watching every YouTube video I could. So the very first video I watched was actually Ariel Kadar. So she was one of my inspirations from the get-go. And then obviously Oksana, all the kind of currents. But then Monica, I remember watching some of your routines, Carol Semple, there were so many of I wanted to go back in history. Yeah, I wanted to go back and see okay, how did it start? And I remember Mindy telling me I know she turned pro, I think it was 2004, but she even said during her time, it was they had the cat suit. They had 2 rounds of posing, 2 different routines. It was so different back then. And it's just crazy to see, I know obviously I wasn't during that time, but just to hear and see how it's evolved and changed over the years to what it is now. So I did my first show in 2017, and then I turned pro in 2019, and then I didn't do my first pro debut until 2 years after that. So I was 23 when I did my pro debut, and then it's crazy. December 2nd, so just a few days ago, that was my 8 years ago to that day was when I did my very first show. So I've been in this for 8 years now. Yeah.
And you nearly competed there with Oksana, you were saying. So tell us that bit. What happened there? So you got injured, you said. So it was 2022, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I got injury. I think it was my calf. Yes, it was my calf because before there was injury with my knee and this was my calf. So it was a tear. And but it was not like full tear, but it was it's bad injury. So and I was ready because it happens 2 weeks before the show. My body ready, my routine is ready. I'm mentally there, so like everything is ready. I was keep practicing, keep doing what I can, of course, without jumps, without anything anymore. And we decide, okay, maybe this magic shot from pain can kind of like let me do it just for once. And if something happens, it happens, but at least I will do my routine, because it was a dream for me to do this routine. So much work, 5 months of preparation, it's just insane. I couldn't give up. So I went to Olympia and we were planning to do workout before the show, like just make a shot and just see how I'm gonna do it, because my body ready. I just need shot from pain. That's all. I can do that. We did, and I start do some small releve and jumps, and I'm like, no, there is no way. So it just doesn't let me do it. I just feel like it's gonna be full tear and long recovery. So, and we decide to skip Olympia. So, yes. And yeah, so Eddie was there. I was at the meeting with athletes. I was still hoping that I will compete, Yes, we fitness, we crazy girls, It's just, we have no fear. We have no fear. And it's extraordinary sport. Because some, athletes now from other divisions, they can't even imagine what we're going through just to get on this stage, because it's so much work we want to deliver on stage. It's so much passion. It's so much, stories, creativity. It's just, we can't give up. We just can't give up.
Well,
So only bad injuries, like really bad injuries, can stop us. That's only what I'm afraid. I was always afraid. So that what happens. Yeah.
I found, I think what astonished me the most, and I'm going to ask Izzy as well, just to give us just to start a little bit now, how she's experiencing it. But I found, I'll tell you something funny. I'm listening to you all talk, and it seems like being so competitive, and then suddenly there's a rock star on the stage. So Oksana's competing, and there's Monica, and you're going, oh my God, now you're saying I've got a rock star on the stage. And then Abby's thinking, oh my God, I could have competed with Oksana. Like, it's kind of like your ultimate goal. You want to win, but then you want to share the stage with a celebrity.
Sure. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember when I competed with Adela. She's 8-time Miss Fitness Olympia. And I remember when I won her in Spain at the Arnold Classic in Spain. It was first time ever I won her, because I was always following up like second, or I was third, second. Second place was perfect for me. I was happy. I'm like, oh my God, I need someone, just, it's like competition. I need someone to follow. I don't want to be first. I was always happy to be second. I think I was twice second. And when we went to Arnold Classic in Spain, and I won her, and all this, all these things in my head, I couldn't accept it. I'm like, no, no. I need inspiration. I need someone who I'm gonna who I want to follow up. So we had such a long talk with Adela after the show backstage. We was crying. She was crying. I was crying. It was such a sweet conversation, sharing our thoughts, and her love, how she loved me, I loved her. It was very amazing time. But for me, I like second. I like everybody. When you second, everybody love you. Everybody likes you. Everybody's supporting you.
Yeah.
As soon as you become first, that's it. Everybody hate you. Everybody waiting that something happens to you. It's like what it is. So being a champ, it's harder.
Yeah.
It's very
A lot of pressure.
hard.
A lot of pressure, a lot of
Yes.
pressure. Wow. And just quickly, Izzy, obviously, how's your experience been? And you got your pro card very quickly. And maybe you want to explain to the girls how you got your pro card as well. And you've done a pro show, haven't you, now as well? So just quickly, you want to give a little bit of rundown so everyone goes, because you too, I mean, Izzy's a very go-getter. Like, I don't think she knows how to hold back. And I think she's probably a typical 22-year-old wants it now. And she's probably, and the funniest thing is she's doing a good job at it. She's doing a good job at it. So continue. So what would you like to tell us?
So it was back in 2024. I did my fitness debut. So I went back to the UK, and I competed. I did a regional, the Royal, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but Royal Race Trick, the Two Bros regional. Now, my first experience of fitness with that one was the stage. Was literally tiny. And I remember getting there with doing check-ins, and I looked at the stage, and I immediately called my coach, and I was like, I don't know how we're gonna do this routine. My routine was made 10 times bigger than the stage could even fit. And I remember I was stressing so much. I remember getting on there, and I was like, okay, we've got to change everything. And then because it was a regional, and they don't really prioritize fitness as a category, the whole it was literally, we did our physique rounds. They told us to get changed, and we were straight back on. No warm up, no stretch really.
Oh my God.
It was kind of just throw you on there, just go you're next basically after a couple divisions. And because it was a quieter show, it was a very quick turnover. And I remember being on there, I still hadn't figured out how I'm gonna change this routine. So I remember doing, my first skill was 2 back handsprings into a back tuck, and my legs, my toes skimmed the TV. So I had to kind of undershoot that tuck forwards, landed on my face, and I was like, sick, I've still got the rest of the routine to go. And so I think, my first, and then I missed a couple skills, and then I missed one of the mandatories. And I was I literally came off stage, and I was like, cool. So that was the first experience of the regional. And then I was like, okay, cool. I need to be prepared for the pro qualifier. I need to kind of adjust this routine. I ended up flipping in 12 days. I think I flipped the whole routine, changed the music. I just created something completely different.
Yeah, 12 days. Wow.
Yeah.
But sorry, I missed. You pro fitness now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
So
nice. I just was going to invite you to my show, Totally Fire, because I have an amazing stage.
That would have been beautiful.
So I have to make sure that there's fitness girls. They feel comfortable and safe. That's the most important. So, but you're already pro.
I have seen and I know especially in America, the stages are a lot more made for fitness, especially certain shows. And they it's good to see that even the regionals before the qualifiers. I think you guys have regionals and then nationals, and nationals is your pro qualifiers. But and then when I did that pro qualifier, I think it was only 2 of us. So I had to apply for my pro cards.
But didn't he come up to you? So what's his name? Came up to you, didn't he?
So I had
Mannion.
Jim. Was it Jim Mannion? Yeah, I'm gonna get that wrong.
The young kid. The young guy? Was it the young guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Tyler?
Yeah,
Tyler.
there you go. Tyler.
Mannion or
Is
something.
it Tyler Jim? Yeah. Tyler came up to me and a few of the other judges, and they were like, look, like, I think you should apply, write your email tonight, and we'll get it approved. So straight away, I remember being like, I was obviously like, emotions are high, everything's up in the air, and so I sent the email and then just waited a couple of days. The response came through. So obviously, pro card wise, like, I didn't get that whole kind of pro card experience on stage, but to me, it was still like it was more to that anyway. It was more to just prove myself, like, okay, I can do this. Like, now I've got to work. Like, I'm like, you get that pro card status, it's like, actually you're kind of you're bottom of the league now. Like, now you work your way back up.
It's kind of frustrated because so many pro qualifier, and sometimes it's zero fitness or just one.
Limited,
It will be awesome if two girls, but it's just, it's not like back then when Monica competed, or even I got a little bit this time when in fitness was 40 girls. Oh my God, in fitness. It's huge competition. In 2 rounds, 2 routine rounds, in head suits and the 2 minutes routine. Yeah. So, and right now it's a little bit sad, but we still fighting, we still hoping. Abby, it's all up. Let's it up. Yes.
Even when I got my pro card like that, like those years when I was amateur, like there was at least like, I would say between like 7 and 8-ish girls at each pro qualifier. Cause like when I got my pro card, I think there was 8 of us. So like obviously still not as great as like when you guys turned pro, but there's at least some numbers. And then it seemed like once COVID hit, like that turnaround after that, it just spiraled downward. And now, like you said, it's like, we're lucky if we get 1 to 2 girls at a pro show. And like, I know in Canada, like it's been really bad. Like, I think there was only 1 out of the 3 or 4 pro qualifiers that we had 1 fitness girl at the national show. So it's sad to see, because like, we just need to get more girls, more exposure. And especially with technology nowadays, like it should be easier to reach out. Like, like, so like, I would have loved to get into fitness even sooner. Like if I knew, like, I just didn't even know about it until I met the right person who introduced me. So I think we just gotta like target the right kind of girls. Cause like there's a lot of ex-gymnasts, ex-cheerleaders who they need that outlet once they stop.
Honestly, I can't understand. I think this is a great opportunity to become a star.
Yeah.
To become a star, to become a memorizable. Like if you have creativity, if you have some background, especially now, there's so many dancers, performers, like, I don't know. It's just amazing opportunity. You have 2 minutes on stage. You can do whatever you want. You have no restrictions like in bodybuilding and other divisions where you can do backflip, you can do anything, just posing, right? In fitness, you're welcome. And it's, I don't know, I still really can't understand. And when I see fitness girls going to other divisions like figure, and when they still can do great job in fitness, this is very heartbreaking for me.
Go on, Monica. I want to hear you.
Well, it's I mean, obviously we all know it's a very grueling sport, right? You live, breathe, and your routine, the gymnastics, the dance particle. I mean, all of that. And as you get older, it's hard to keep it up, right, Oksana? Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, it's not, for the faint of heart. And so I understand why a lot of women, even if they can still do it, may not have the desire to maintain that athleticism, because you're not just a performer, you're an athlete through and through. And then you have to try to maintain some level of muscularity and leanness. And like, it's really hard. And there's some celebrity status, but if you don't know how to take the show opportunities and create business from it, you get stuck in just being an athlete, and there's not a lot of money in that, right?
No, there's no money.
So you have to learn how to be an entrepreneur. You have to figure out, how do you take this opportunity to be in the spotlight for your 2 minutes or whatever it is, right? And then be able to do something else with it. That's not just, oh, I got another show, and you do 7 or 8 shows a year, but what else? Like, there has to be another opportunity that you create for yourself in order to have the longevity. And that's the only reason that I was able to maintain a competitive 26-year span. I started in 1991 and I ended in 2016. But it was because I had other things that I did, and the competitions were something fun for me to do. And of course, I wasn't doing fitness all of those years, but there's still a level of commitment that you have to stay in order to get on a stage. But I think that there's a lot of, you're right, Oksana, there's a lot of opportunities. And, even I was one of the first girls to have a fitness show, the Monica Brant Fitness Classic, ran for 6 years. And that was awesome. I loved it. It was really fun. Ran into some snags in the industry, and the promoter I worked with, he did a beautiful job. He actually still works with Sean Ray, does a great job for Sean out in Hawaii. But we just, decided to call that period, ending at that moment. But that was one thing. And then I ran women's fitness events for almost 15 years, basically around the world. I was one of the first ones to have 3-day women's fitness events. And I loved those too. And I came here to San Antonio and ended up doing 3 years of another retreat here for women. So having those events, coaching and sharing your passion for not just stage, but I did stage and presentation classes within my events. And the women that would come, not all of them wanted to be on stage. I'm like, hey, you got to walk in heels sometime. So let's learn to walk in heels. I just tried to make it really fun. So it wasn't always just about getting on stage, but a lot of those women's ended up, going on to stage. But I just want to say real quick, Abby, it was pretty cool to hear you talk about the history, because not everybody wants to learn history of the sport that's commendable. And thank you for saying that, because so many people just get into something and move forward, and they never think about who came up before me and who helped pave the way, or what did they do in the past. And I'll tell you, there was a lot of really crappy stages and stages that even on the Olympia and Arnold level, well, Arnold not so much, but the Olympia level, because they used to have the Olympia at a different location every year. And I remember 2 years, one of them I think was in Georgia, maybe. It was either Chicago or Georgia. I can't remember. They had a big hole in the stage. So they had like this runway kind of stage, and then they had this big cutout behind it. So, you're looking at, okay, I'm going to go right here, but if I veer a little bit off, like I could be flying down through this hole in the back of the stage very easily. And it's nerve-wracking, right? As a performer, right, with this routine, like you're like, I better not screw up, because I'll end up in that hole that goes down pretty far under the stage. So, there was a lot. Even the 98 stage, we competed in France in 98. Flew over there. They handmade the stage the day before.
Oh, no.
So we're talking like every time you landed, bam, bam, bam. And it was handmade, little green curtain behind us. It was 8 to 10 feet tall curtain. So if the camera got a little high, you just see the top of the curtain. No signage, no nothing. If I didn't have my medal on when I won, you wouldn't have known anything that I won anything. It would just look like me standing there with my suit on, right? Like,
Monica, for that reason, I stopped doing guest appearances.
You don't know what stage you're getting, right?
Yeah, I remember once someone invited me for guest performance, and I was like so excited. I came, and he was like, "Okay, this is the stage." I'm like, "Where's the stage?" This is the stage, and so this is enough space,
right? Yeah.
Stage was, oh my God! So I told him, like, I was start to play. Oh, my leg. I'm sorry. I probably couldn't do it.
Hey guys, Nutrition Warehouse, your #1 store for all your supplement needs. Visit in-store here in Australia or New Zealand, or go to nutritionwarehouse.com.au, or for our New Zealanders, go to nutritionwarehouse.co.nz, shop away, and at checkout, why not use discount code MTP15 to get 15% off all your orders.
No,
I
just got hurt.
I remember going to Austria. I had a guest appearance in Austria. You know, it's like I probably flew in. I was there maybe a day. You know, then it ended up to be they had, and none of this was explained to me, or just the way they made it sound they didn't tell me what they had planned, honestly. But they had the guest appearance. I was supposed to do my routine at a nightclub on a small little bitty stage, like maybe like go-go dancers or something would have been on stage, and it was at night, and it was literally right where people were standing, and I was like, I'm sorry, I don't even know, I can't do anything. There's no lighting. I don't know what you think that we do, but I don't remember how I improvised something and they made it super short. I still got paid, but it was horribly run. And then one other thing I was thinking, you know, talking about being injured, I don't think we didn't talk about this back in the day. Mm-hmm. You know, there wasn't social media to be like, hey, by the way, I was injured. 1997 Olympia in New York. Again, another horrible, horrible stage for fitness. Multiple levels of rooms to go get ready in. It was cold. We were at winter time in New York, and each little room had, you know, so many mirrors or whatever, but it was the Beacon Theater in New York. And then you'd go downstairs or upstairs, I don't remember. And there was just this little space that was dirty and cement, and that was all you had. There was no like, here's your area to warm up in. We were all freezing back there, trying to just stretch and jump around like before, because there was nowhere to do any gymnastics or anything. And I remember that was the worst. And I was injured, and we had the rower that year on stage as our third event, because it wasn't always the cat suit. They had us doing VersaClimber for a minute or 2 minutes in the beginning. So you had your one piece round, you had your VersaClimber. Everyone know what a VersaClimber is? Yep. So that was round 2, and you did 2 minutes on that. So I'm a sprinter, that was easy. And then you came back in and did your routine. Well, this year they had us doing a rower because everyone complained about the VersaClimber, so they put you on a rower. Well, I came in the 97 Olympia, and I had some kind of sternum strain on my sternum. And remember Jack Barnathan, Oksana, you might know Jack Barnathan, Dr. Jack Barnathan. He was backstage, or he was always around. He was a chiropractor. Yeah, and he taped me up really, really tight in my chest because I had some kind of issue here. And I competed with that. And I think we took the tape off for me to do my routine because I couldn't really move. But then I look back at my routine and I'm like, wow, it was pretty weak. You know, it was pretty weak that year. But, you know, when you're in pain, you just do what you can do. And it certainly didn't look. But, you know, we never talk about that stuff when we're back. Didn't you have social media be like, hey, I was at your team. Yeah.
Did you guys, like I said, one of the things I've got here, it says longevity and evolution. I mean, I guess, was there moments, Monica, because when you did the sport, it was in the women's divisions. There was only really 2 divisions, wasn't it? It was the open and it was fitness, wasn't it? Or a figure. Like there wasn't so many as what there is now. How many was there?
Well, when I started with a different organization who's no longer with the industry, and it was more of a pageant. So there was a gown round where we had to get in a gown and say our philosophy of fitness on stage in 45 seconds. You had to speak. So you were judged in your gown like a pageant with presenting yourself in speech. And then the fitness round, the physique round, we all wore the same swimsuit. And then there was, at least in the nationals, and then they had a routine round. So anyways, it was, thirds. Now, when I moved to California, there was still no NPC fitness or IFBB, obviously, because we know NPC is the national level. So I came in as this kind of person who had been doing the Fitness USA. I had one cover of Muscle and Fitness, and I started kind of getting involved in LA people at Venice Golds, and I got hired to start doing work right away as a model. And then I got invited to a show that Jantana put on. She was hosting the men's Masters Olympia, and she decided to do a pro fitness show. So it was technically the first pro fitness show within the industry. And she invited all these different girls from different organizations. She invited some bodybuilders that maybe could potentially do fitness. And she just kind of had like 30 girls on the list. And all of us that showed up, I ended up winning. So that technically was the very first IFBB Fitness awarded female. And that started the first Fitness Olympia. You know, I was invited to that, obviously. I think all the girls that competed at Jan's show were then invited to the Fitness Olympia. And then they had, you know, a handful of other women that maybe didn't do Jan's show, but came in separately for the Olympia, like Mia Finnegan, who ended up winning that year. But she had won the Fitness America. So that was the first year. That was in 95. It was only women's bodybuilding up to that very summer. Fitness began. Yeah. And then I didn't even, this is kind of funny because a couple of years ago, I was redoing my website and I wanted to have all my covers on my website, which I've done now, which is kind of fun. And then I was going through all my articles and features, and I made sure I had everything like chronologically ordered and what magazine. And I found an old page out of a magazine that said, Monica Brant just won the Jantana Pro Fitness, making her the very first IFBB Pro Fitness woman ever. And I was like, that was in 1995. And here we're like 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize, like, it never had dawned on me that was a thing. It was just so fun. I was like, look what I just found. And it's like all these years later, I didn't realize that was a thing until I was like, saw it. And then I was like, oh, it was a thing. So women's bodybuilding only. And then that was 1995, the first year for women's fitness. After the first Fitness Olympia, I came in 7th. That was a long year for me because I same year moved to California, changed everything, won a show there in July. And then I was invited to a big show that aired on ESPN that was nationwide. I was on that for 3 weeks, came out of that. And then I got ready for the Olympia and I was pretty worn out. You know, you can imagine just such a year. Oh, and in February that year is when I did the Fitness USA Nationals and I had won 9th out of 250. So it was like a long year. And so I came in 7th at the Olympia. It wasn't really my best, but I think I was really fatigued and just not able to really hang in there. Because that year, they used to have the Olympia like October. Yes, it's kind of still in October. But after that, they came in with the Fitness Nationals. Was the first year that a Fitness Nationals at the NPC level was held. And then, of course, the top 2 girls or whatever, I don't remember, however many they took, turned to pro. And then in 1996, they started having IFBB Pro Fitness shows around the country leading up to the Olympia. So, yeah, that was the very beginning, girls.
But now look how many divisions we have, right? It's a lot of divisions: bikini, wellness, oh my God, fit model, figure. And I still think because of that, new stars, fitness kind of like steps down on second place, and girls doesn't have more opportunities to get sponsorship, even from, just to get, and the same with prize money for some pro shows is not enough. Like, it just, I don't know. Even back then for guest performance, we got more money than for competitions now. So, and I was lucky to see AB competing like from audience. Yes, and she's amazing, absolutely artistic, like so much potential. Like, it's beautiful, and I don't know why fitness is not get so much attention from audience, because all girls are amazing, absolutely. So
Oksana, people are spoiled. People are spoiled. Like,
let's be real here. Let's be real.
You and I and we can appreciate the work and the beauty and the artistic and what it takes. And we can sit there but most people that haven't done it, they just can't appreciate it. And then I just think people are spoiled now with entertainment. Honestly,
Absolutely.
I mean,
even I remember in my time when I was competing, like winning Olympia year by year, it was 4 in a row. And I'm like, oh my God, what I have to do? Like every time, what's next? Because people like, waiting.
What's next? What's next?
Yes, okay. She's probably never going to repeat something like this. Like everyone was curious. And I'm like, oh my God, I just go with my heart because my head is creative and I have no problem with that. So, but, I just remember how hungry people, they waiting from you more, and they do not understand how much work.
I think the other thing that has maybe watered down the whole industry a little bit from my perspective is that back in the day, magazines were king, right?
Yeah.
You waited, you had your magazine come out, and of course, magazines kept trying to inch, okay, November came out in August or, something crazy. But that was their way of getting information. That was their way of seeing who won, who's coming up, who's doing what, what's the latest training. If you're interested in diving into nutrition or supplementation, you'd read those articles that came out. That was the heart and soul of the magazine. Those publishers helped create stars. You weren't as an athlete trying to make yourself a star, right? Social media now has there's a lot of really great things about social media, and I'm not trying to take away those things at all. And I think there's so many cool things. You can, connect with people, you can find work, but you can also get lost in it. And it doesn't create that stardom that is so big when another being, person, entity creates the star, right? I hope I'm saying that without being rude about it.
No, can I just say something to help you? I think what I found...
The magazines were really important for that purpose.
But I think I'm going to elevate... I want to hear, because I want you to take this to the next stage. But it seemed like back then, you guys spoke about writers, cameramen. There was people had to be loving the sport, passionate in the sport, and they were getting you on the best angles. They travel to film photo shoots. That there would be people that wrote articles. There had to be. Now everyone wants to do it themselves. You're the photographer. You're the editor. You're the script writer. Where before, Monica, your focus was your sport. Like you were good at what you did, and there was someone that paralleled you that could write about you, and there was someone that could take photos of you. And I think that's what's missing, and what they've done is push these critical people out, like the people like Chris, the people with the cameras, the people with the editorial skills, the people with the writing, the people that can produce a story with film. What do you agree with that, Monica, and everybody listening right now?
100%.
Yeah, I'm hearing that.
People had, each job was important, and each job created such a beautiful place in that magazine. Yes, you're right. You had the creative director, the publisher, Joe Weider was incredible. If you had the opportunity to have him at your photo shoot for a cover, that was everything. Like Joe Weider's here, we got to have him there. And then you had the creative director, you had the photographer, the lighting crew. Like you felt like a celebrity. And you were made to feel like you were a star, and they even paid you a little bit, nowadays what I'm seeing, and it's just, I'm sure it works for a lot of maybe you younger girls. For me, I've been doing this since the 90s as being a model, being in front of the camera and all that. But I was the talent. I wasn't trying to selfie myself and make the right lighting and the content and feel comfortable like that. And it's been challenging. And, one of the things for all of my career, I have been a contracted athlete, meaning I got paid, I got product, I was used by the company for marketing their product. Nowadays, they want you to do everything. Maybe you can still get paid some, but they still want, okay, you still have to do your own creativity. They want you to send them content. And I'm like, it's really different. And it's not, it doesn't feel comfortable to me, and it doesn't feel natural to me. And it feels like there's something missing, and it doesn't feel authentic. In the old days, you know, I got to show up, and I had a company that was excited about being there with me or having me represent them. And now it's just like, yeah, we want to work with you, but just send us all your stuff and, you know, tag us. But it's just such a different feel now. And I feel like that's really watered down the sport. In you're seeing it probably at the events, at the shows, like what you're saying, Oksana, right? The people are kind of dull. They're not like really, you know, they're just like, well, okay, what's next? What can I get free? And, you know, can I just go see something crazy? And then, you know, they're just dull, their senses are dull.
Yeah, social media is kind of like mass. I don't know, mass with fitness influencers and real athletes. You know, this is insane. Like,
it is
one
insane.
company is going to pay sponsorship to fitness influencer who just never competed, who just make for living all this social posts, instead of athlete who's working hard every day. She or he doesn't have much time for making a video, but she deliver result on the real stage in real life. You know,
because it's almost, it's not as much about the talent, it's who has the most followers. So a lot of these kind of more influencers who are just, their full-time job is just to put out content. They're the ones who are getting all the sponsorships, that sort of thing. Whereas the athletes, like if they don't have a massive following, which a lot don't, like companies aren't going to support them.
And you know, sometimes influencer with million followers, they decide to step on other side to compete in real life. And when they show up on stage, they don't even post any videos or anything, because they nothing compared to real athletes, and followers will see.
It's way too common now.
So and this is kind of, it's new life. We have to accept it, of course, because I don't know what's next gonna be. So, but this is a little bit challenging. I mean, it's challenging for real athletes, for someone who love the sport and give themselves fully to the sport.
Well, you know, I just really quick, you know, I have a mutual friend who I've been around a little bit, and she is not in the fitness realm at all, but she is an influencer on a makeup, clothing, bags, all this kind of stuff. And she's a little older. She's probably 60 or 61, still, you know, she's cute and all that. But I know the inside of that. She doesn't use the stuff. It's like shit shows up and she does the fake excitement. And like, how is that authentic? And I guess brands don't care is the bottom line. They really don't care. They want it to be seen. They don't really care if the person's authentic. Now, granted, there may be a thing or two that she really does like, but it's just over and over and over. It's something new. And then, you know, even it sadly leaks into when she's wants to host a birthday party for her friend, and she creates this big party and has everything, you know, shipped, and then she has to tag everything, and it's like it makes it really like unauthentic and like, okay, it looks glamorous and all that, but it's all about the staging it. And I think that's, you know, it's just that's a really sad part to me to see that happening. And I don't, you know, I'm assuming that happens more in the fitness world too. And the other side is, I know a lot of people that have like the millions of followers. Again, I'm not speaking on anyone here. I literally have spoken to some guys that have told me, because I've analyzed, because I was going to do some work with them, analyzed their 1.5 million. And I'm like, why is it that you always have 4,000 or 4,200 or 4,100 responses? And it's the same, and it's the same kind of responses, you know. And I'm like, and then we had a discussion. He's like, oh, I pay for a specific, you know, amount of followers, and all of the, you know, it all, you have to answer here and they answer there, and you all support one another. And I'm like, well, that's not
Genuine.
That's not real either. Like,
No.
so
Yeah, I think that's very important to not get lost in this, and know to know that there is real life with real people, with real results. Even
that's
it's
the old way. That's what the events used to be, with people showing up with their magazine. I want to meet this person in this magazine, and then they get to meet, like, you said, you wanted to meet.
Yes, I work on some huge project in New York, and there is a lot of people on this project. Huge, it's many people. It's very famous project. I cannot tell now until it's gonna be released. But no one of these people who creating this project have social media, Instagram. None. I was so surprised. They said, no, it's I don't want. I have so much in life to do, so much work, real work. I meet people, real people. I talk all this. I mean, that's just.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah, that's just for young generation, so they're not gonna get lost. And I see my son. He's every time, like, he look at this my phone when I'm doing something. Like, of course I can't stop him. I know he's gonna be there, but just for us, it's important to understand that real life is more beautiful, is more real than all this social media.
And I think going off
what were you going to say, Izzy?
Going off from this, it's from like an athlete's perspective, it's a highlight reel as well. Social media is such a highlight reel that people will only post what they want to post or what you want them to see. So you could be like, people could be having like the worst time in their life. They could have injuries, like whatever it is, whatever problems they've got, but everything's perfect. Their training's perfect. Their nutrition's perfect. They won't show the fact that they've had 10,000 calories the night before. Like, but the next day they'll post their first meal and it's fine. Like little things like that. I just think like people do cover
binging
up a lot.
In the closet.
Yeah. and people cover it up, so you don't actually know what's genuine anymore and what's real. And as Oksana was saying, like, be present in real life and actually, like, there's more to it. So, and I've just always gone by that. I just think that like social media is great for some things, but for others, is it all that?
Just to see the difference, like we have to understand and see the difference, because some people really lost. They think social media is real life, their own life. Like so this is we have to.
The other terrifying thing is like AI and like photo editing apps and stuff. Like you never know like what people are posting, if it's real or not. Like some of these videos are getting absolutely like crazy scary. They're so real. So it's like, I don't even know what to believe anymore half the time. So you have to almost like dissociate from that and just focus on yourself and just try and illegal.
I think there's something because I like, think about it. I mean, all I have is a love affair with bodybuilding, right? I've never competed. And in all honesty, I've had great careers. So to me, getting on stage or competing in the sport when I've had great careers or businesses has never been something to take away the love affair with the bodybuilding. And I don't think you can ever lose that. If it's built into your DNA, this sport, I think what's sad is, like for me now, I am what Monica just said, I bring the entrepreneurial side in. So I go to myself, you know what? Maybe I can make a buck from it, but you're not going to take away my love affair for it. I'll give it all up for just to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym today. I've got chicken and rice here in my bag. I just love, and I have an element of vanity, an ego with my body. I want to look good. It's personal. And everyone else, if I can do it, they get the benefits from it. But I have to first believe it myself. And I think with social media, and just anyone listening and everyone here too, even with Chris, we study people. Like I get people that have 800,000 followers and literally you can hear crickets. When the podcast is launched, I've got crickets. And then there's someone that has very little following and it just explodes because there's an element of substance. So like Monica says, you can have 1 million followers, but what? You've got 30 likes and 2 comments. And also, everyone followed you once, but they're asleep. Mm-hmm. Imagine 1 million followers, but they're all asleep. So, I mean, we here, me and Chris, we've got 6,000 followers and we get 1 million impressions a month. But me and Chris work so hard to get views. I don't care about followers. And I think you got to start to learn it's not followers. It's about interaction.
The impact you want to
make. The impact you're having, it's bigger than your followers. Because how many things do you see that you don't like, but you saw it, that you didn't follow? You laughed over something. You thought, this guy's really funny. But it took 10 times to watch this guy be funny before you go, oh my God, I'm not even following him. And then you follow him. So what I'm alluding to is, and I think as well, you like obviously Oksana's doing right now and Monica and you guys coming up and having careers. Abby, you've got a great career. I know you do. You've got a great career. You studied university. But it's not a bad thing to sit there and decide, I also want to do something with my fitness, my business in that. And the last thing I'm going to tell you now, that you got to learn the word no. Why you got to learn the word no? I know you can see behind me like a discount code, but unless I get paid, I'll do a discount code. But I don't need your commission. You can have the discount
your boundaries.
Code. You can, and I'm realistic. If my podcast is worth $100, meaning for the views it gets on the CPM, clicks per view, whatever it's called, Chris knows all the words, then I will say I'm worth $100, and I will take it. Then I want to earn. Then I'm going to get the clicks up, to get a little bit more. What's killed the industry is discount codes, is commission. You got to learn to say no. You got to learn to say, I don't need your protein powder. I don't need this. I don't need that. Because once you accept discount codes, trust me, the good brands know what you're doing and they're not going to associate with you. Does that, And big brands as well, just to let you know, myself too, and the ones that have succeeded, entrepreneurial people, they really minimize the sexual side. They don't go with that. That can take you out of the industry as well. It's really a professional side they want. They want to know what your craft is, what you're doing, what you're good at. And I think you got to, and you got to kind of, like I said, you got to find that talent, which is what you girls have got, the skill to get on stage, to compete. But that's an individual art that then you need to bring it into a business element. And that's what I try to teach Chris, or I try to tell people. Hey guys, just want to thank one of our major sponsors, Alka Power Water, as I cradle their 10-litre box here. alkapower.com.au. Go check them out. They're in your major retail stores, supermarkets, and please get yourself alkalined with Australia's #1 alkaline water, Alka Power. alkapower.com.au. Go check them out now. Yeah, you got to learn to say no, and you got to learn to do the long game, because eventually it does happen. Someone says, can I sign you up? And you laugh. You go, oh my God, someone's going to give me $100. That's, you know what I mean? Or $1,000. Doesn't matter what it is. That is a true deal. A true contractual deal is where you start coming into the sport and you start becoming a true professional. Like I said.
Sure.
Sorry, Monica, what did you say? Yep.
Absolutely. I mean, that's how I grew up in this industry, was having contracts.
Yeah.
That was it. Like you got paid and you were an athlete, model, whatever, and you had a certain amount of appearances you contracted in the year. You had, a photo shoot or two that you would do for that company. And, I had, my own opportunity to pick my clothing that I wanted to wear. I wasn't going to wear what they sent me. I got to have it logoed where I want the logo to sit, not where they sent it to me. I mean, as you build on those contracts, you start learning how to handle them. And so I, to this day, have those kind of contracts for myself. I don't want to do, and I'm not going to just do something for free product or affiliate link or whatever. I may have an affiliate link.
Yeah, you can have some
with,
things. Yeah.
With that, but I won't do it just for that, because even that doesn't really work with, the websites give out things and then don't really, people just go do that, because it's just easier or whatever the case, or they don't remember or something. And it's just more authentic to be able to just say, hey, try this product. I love it, which I do. There's some products I love and I just want to give it to people. I don't want to have to say, hey, use my code, so it's, but the companies have gotten really in a rut with that, because that's what everyone has agreed to do now, right? With all this influencer in quote thing. And I remember as going through, so my first Arnold and Olympia was 1995, both of them. And I've done 22 years of each, competed, I think 9 Arnolds. I think I only competed 8, but invited to 9. One of them I was not allowed to compete because of the contract I had, and they were, that's another story. But they actually would not let me compete, the company that year, for stupid reasons. So I won't go into that story, but, the other, let's see, between fitness and figure, I think I did 10 years at the Olympia, but working 22 years of each. Anyways, I started seeing where in the beginning, the companies brought people in to work the booths. They hired the girls to come in and guys. And then it started getting to where people would just show up and say, hey, I want to work the booth next time you have a booth, and I'll do it on my own dime. So companies, I was there when I started seeing these people come in and they just wanted to be in the booths. So they would offer themselves up for free. Like, can I come work in? And they would maybe get product. Maybe the company would pay for their hotel or their flight, maybe something like that, but they didn't get paid money, and they would come work the booths for free for 3 days, however long they needed to be there. And I get it that there was some ways that some of them got in the industry, so I can't blame them for that. But it just watered our sport down so much, because then companies just they didn't have to pay unless you were a contracted athlete and you were sticking to you're like, I am not going down on my money. This is what I deserve. This is what I can bring to you. I mean, it was, there was a lot of, and girls, there was a lot of contracts I gave up that were bad contracts, and they ended up to be Olympia's title sponsors the year I said no to them. And the girls that won were signed with them. So there was a lot of that kind of stuff going on that I turned down contracts because, like you said, Stephen, you have to know when to say no, and you can't take every deal just because it may sound okay. But I mean, I'll tell you, there were some companies that sent me contracts. They had never even read the contract. The guy that sent it to me, I remember one of them, I was like, and they ended up like that year specific being title sponsor. And I was like, I have this 20-page contract and I have it all marked up. I need to talk to you. And he's like, well, what do you need to ask me? And I said, I need to have a call set up where I can go over the contract page by page with you. And he's like, oh, I haven't even read it yet. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And that, anyways, we have to be smart business wise, and we have to be athletes, and so there's it's important. And I'll tell you, it sounds like all of you here, I know Oksana already has figured it out. Abby, it sounds like you have a career outside of just fitness, so you're in a good place probably. And Izzy, coming up, make sure that you have someone, and maybe Steve can help you, someone that can help you look things over and be that eye, because when you're coming up in this industry and you have the manions like, hey, we want you in, it can get really attractive to think about that. And at your age, I get it, and so make sure that you have a checks and balance for yourself. If you don't have a family member that can be that for you, or someone that you trust, maybe Stephen can be that for you, to say, okay, I'm getting this contract. Can you look at it for me? Because right now it just sounds really good to me, but I'm maybe missing something in the fine print that I'm not seeing, or maybe there's a future thing that I don't know about that is, because they can make things sound really good. So just make sure that you have someone, again, maybe Stephen's that one for you that can just proof something and say, hey, this sounds great, go for it. Or I might be, maybe try to change it. Don't be afraid to
question and
ask for change.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid that if you ask for change, that they're going to say, never mind, then fine. Then, you're glad you didn't sign it. So anyways.
Yeah, I also talk with many athletes, and sometimes when athletes come to me and said, Oksana, I want to become pro athlete so I can get more followers on Instagram. This is
not a good reason.
I don't even know what to say, but there are athletes like this. So, and that's why I wanted to AB and Jen, just girls, you young athletes, and please, if Olympia title was always free. Like I said that to anyone. There is just not many people who really want it, who really working hard for this.
Be passionate.
Don't mess up your life. Yeah, even when I was sacrifice everything just to do better job, not to win the title, but just to do better than I used to be, better than I used to be. I was sacrificed so many. I couldn't even talk with friends. I couldn't even go to someone. I'm not even talking about social media or some guest performance. I'm like, no, I'm afraid if I will be injured at the guest performance, I better to stay safe and be focused on my goal. So it is still like this. Nothing changed, nothing changed, because I've seen one athlete. He is amazing. He was quietly on social media. He was quietly working so hard, and he showed the result. He won pro show, like amazing, and now a lot of teasers come up and start to, you can do great content. Let's do content. You amazing, and I can see how this good athlete who can be Mr. Olympia or, wherever, how he start to make turn in wrong way. And I see like, oh no, please don't do that. Just keep doing good work, because they need you when you on top. When you step down, nobody will need you. So that's why just be focused, believe in yourself and believe in your goal, be real. And yeah, I don't know what else to say.
I think there's
stay authentic.
Yeah, there's so many like accounts as well on social media now that they're taking athletes and they're putting that kind of focus on them, but that can easily misspread like the wrong information, and things can get twisted, and then and like add pressure as well. You're just adding pressure to these athletes, and it's like, this person's coming up, or this person's going to do a pro show, this person's going to compete at this show, and then it immediately directs everyone's attention onto that. And then you've like, now it's not for the enjoyment of it. It's like, I've got to actually do well for these people. So I think it like can be turned on that way as well. And I just see that so you need to do it for yourself.
I think
the other thing, real quick, Steve.
No, please keep going.
Was so different back in before social media got to where it is now. I'll just say before, and we all know it kind of started at whatever year and it's gone nuts, right? But we used to, as an athlete, get to show up at the gym as normal as possible. Like, we didn't have to have a camera in front of us. We didn't have to have the right clothing and hair done. Of course, I always like to look a little something. And I've gone to the gym numerous times with no makeup at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock. I'm thinking of when I used to live in LA and go to Venice Gold. It's like, you never know who you're going to meet there and all that. So I never am sloppy person, period. But, some days I do more than others. But anyways, my point being is, in that timing, we didn't have to have a camera on us all the time, day and night, trying to, post everything we're doing and how we look all the way up to the show. Like, I used to go to the gym covered unless a couple weeks before the event, we got hired to come in and do a photo shoot with the photographer and the creative director and the lighting crew. And then they would write about, like you said, it was a whole day of whatever the photo shoot was going to be about, training, or was it a day in a life or whatever it was. And that was the day they followed you around, one day, maybe two. And that was it. And the rest of the time you got to do your days like an athlete, take care of the things you need to take care of. You don't have to worry about in my training. Wait, does that light set up correctly so I can get my set done? Do I have someone to follow me around to shoot this? Like, wait, that's not a good angle. Like I don't know. It's so crazy what they do now. I will say that
during backflip and make selfie in backflip.
I guess if you can wear the GoPro, right? But I will say I was the first female in the industry to have a DVD of my day in a life. Oksana, I don't know if you remember Mitsuru Okabe. He was a Japanese guy, and he did Sean Ray. Oh gosh, Lee Priest. I don't know how many DVDs he did of the big guy names, and I was the only female, and he followed me around maybe 4 or 5 different days leading up to the '98 Olympia, and he produced a VHS tape back then, of course. Now, and then it went to DVD, and now it's on YouTube. But he produced it, so that was like a very original reality DVD of what I did leading up to the Olympia. All the things, me eating, me going to church, me doing my gymnastics practice, whatever it was, in the gym, all the stuff. So that was fun for 2 or 3 days, but like every day or 5, 6 days a week leading up to the show. I just think I would be so overwhelmed with that. And then having to because what I can see, it looks like everyone's ready weeks in advance and showcasing their physiques weeks in advance. I'm like, what is it? Then you get on stage, you already show what you look like for weeks. So, I guess it's just that old school mentality where we would show up, I'd probably have a t-shirt on or something. I didn't, show up unless it was a photo shoot. And then and sometimes we didn't always shoot at Gold's Gym. Sometimes we did, but most of the time they tried to find private gyms to go to that were, and then they would rent the gym for a few hours. So nobody else was in there, or the house or whatever it was. They used to spend money on that kind of stuff. Now it's, hey, just send me your content. Anyways,
I find,
good old days.
I found, like I said, you're right with training. I think, like I said, with Chris, when we study things a little bit now, the less edited it is, the better it is. Even setting up your camera, watching it fall over is good enough. So in other words, the less you do editing it, making it seem perfect. And if your son wants to come into the podcast, by all means, bring your son in, Oksana. It's okay if he's wanting to come over to you. But even myself, the anxiety of not bringing your phone into the gym, which I don't now, I leave it in the car, is because if I miss a phone call, if that person calls me. But then I think if I can't be patient with them or they can't be patient with me, then we really don't have relationships anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we have to be answering people's calls or relationship calls. And I found not taking the phone into the gym now myself as well. I don't have to take my earpiece with me either. I don't have to take anything other than water and a towel. And it just seems like I'm out of the gym quicker. I'm out of the gym quicker. Yeah, I'm out of the gym quicker, which is, I really do want to get out of the gym quicker. Like, I want to get to the gym, but I do want to get the hell out of the gym. I want to get back to my day.
You're more productive.
Yeah, more productive.
You stay focused on the task at hand.
Yeah. And
not that distraction.
And myself, and one time I did it recently, I took the phone with me and I just laid it on dumbbells and I kept training. And you could see me switching on the camera and switching off the camera. I said, I'm only going to post stuff. I'm not even going to go home and edit it. I'm not going to do nothing. And I didn't care if I looked like I had love handles on at the time. I didn't care about nothing, because I thought to myself, if you want to know, does this host train? You might as well look at it like that. Because I don't care. I train. Just to edify myself. And that was enough. I've edified myself. I train now. I get back to podcasting. Like I said, I don't need to perfect it to show, oh my God, you're a great trainer. And no, I train. I love bodybuilding. I love the gym. But I'm not going to perfect it because I've got other things to do. So if you need if you need justification that I train, here's a little bit. Or if you need justification what I eat for breakfast, I'll quickly do something quickly, but I don't I'm not going to sit there and go, this is how I start my day, or chopping this up or doing that. Like I said, and I haven't changed my day. So I'm not going to change anything for the camera, and I'm not going to edit it for the camera. And I think that's something maybe everyone could know. If you can simplify it a little bit, especially you guys, I guess all of us, if we want to be relevant at the moment with what we're discovering with Chris, is the more raw it is, actually more embracing it is, the more people are investing in you than the fakeness. Go ahead.
But also, you see how many times we spend talking about social media. Oh my God, you will be better talking about result. What for Abby and Chris, what they can do to get better routine, to get more creative routine. But fitness. But see, we're talking about social media.
Oh, wow. Yes. All right. Well, then I want to say this, because we can get better. No, you're right. So let's say this. No, I want to know.
I'm just talking about how you. Oops.
You got a phone call. Get yourself back.
I'm here.
And flip the camera.
I'm here.
That's all right.
Yeah. So it's just, you see how much this social media gets into our head. Like, this is insane. So we have to, sometimes we have to switch and more talk about results.
But isn't this good, though? Isn't this good that everyone listening, maybe no one talks about social media, maybe hearing you girls talk about it's needed, but utilize it, but it's distracting. Then my question will be, you girls choosing this, how do you do flips but condition a body to be in high heels? I need to know, how did you bring the two together? I'm going to go with you, Oksana, because honestly, you probably could have gone to any division with that body, in a sense. If you look at Oksana, that you were very muscular build, you could have probably done any division. So how did you bring to have strength yet depletion? And I'm going to ask you all, even you, Abby and Izzy and everyone, how could you have enough strength and muscle to do the flips, to do the handstands, yet to be so conditioned? How did you do it, Oksana?
This is an interesting question, so it's really, you have to prep your body mentally, physically, for this moment when you're getting ready for stage. Like, you have to get ready with all subjects like diet and energy. Like, you have to have everything and think about when you get backstage, you ready. Like, you will have this energy, because this diet makes us exhausted, especially when we without enough water. So that's the whole process. So all this prep, you have to manage all this to make sure that backstage you have enough time, enough energy to get warm up, like no injuries, so you get ready to the stage. Well, this is very difficult. Everyone is different from athlete. Everyone has their own method or strategy how to get to this point. But honestly, when I get to the stage, you never know. Like, you just do it. That's the only quote I have to tell myself: just do it. That's it. Because you never know. It's the body. You never know how it's going to be. Like Monica said, sometimes it's very cold out. It's very cold backstage. And this has changed your whole preparation backstage. Sometimes, I don't know, your body not respond for what as you thought it should be. So, and in fitness, you just only said, when they said action, you have to say, just go for it, and no excuses. So very difficult, because every fitness goal is still different. Every preparation is different, even for myself. For all these years, you get older, prep is different, diet change, a workout plan changing. So it's very hard. But it's a very good question, Steven, because in fitness, that's very important.
What about you?
I don't know how.
I don't know. What about you, Abby?
So this is what I love about the fitness division, because it's kind of like, it's a science, it's an art.
Yes.
It's the creativity, it's the athletic component too. And it's really finding that balance between it all, nutrition wise, training wise, but also like, so I'm a chiropractor. I'm really huge on like the nervous system, and it's making sure the nervous system's in a really good spot, making sure stress is lower, and making sure recovery is on point, because you can, and I've experienced this myself, like before understanding more of this, is you can push, and like us as competitive athletes, we do that. We think more is better all the time. And there's that fine line where it's like, sometimes you can push too hard. And if your body is in this like fight or flight kind of survival mode, you can reach plateaus where your body says, no, I like, this is too much, I'm not going to respond. And then that's when like weight plateaus, you don't see the changes as fast. So it's really finding that fine line of, okay, when do we push? When do we pull back, allow the body to recover a little bit? And kind of like Oksana said, like every prep, like I've done 21 shows now, not as much as Oksana and Monica, but every show has been different. Like there's been some preps where I've only had to do 30 minutes of like machine cardio. And then there are others where I've gone up to like 2 hours plus, which I don't like to recommend. And I try to avoid that at all costs. And then nutrition wise, there's some shows I've gone in eating a good amount of food and I get super lean. And then there's others where it's like, my body's not responding and we drop below 1,000 calories, which again is like not ideal. And it just causes the body to like look more tired, fatigued, that sort of thing. So there's so many factors. And I think that's also why I love it so much, because it's almost like this like puzzle to try and like piece together while you're prepping for each show to figure out, okay, what is kind of the best move? And it's sometimes a day-to-day, week-to-week basis of what kind of changes do we need to make. And the more experience you have and the more shows you do, you can start to really narrow that down and figure it out. Yeah. What works best for you? Because again, what works for you does not work for somebody else. And some athletes have to struggle a little bit harder to get to a stage, whereas others might have an easier time. And that's the sport. And you can't complain about that. Like you're choosing to do this because you love it and you want to do it. So yeah, that's kind of what I have to say about that.
Do you think, Abby, is there a moment where you need to compromise or you need to make a decision? It's more the fitness routine than it is the bikini routine? Meaning, is there a moment where you go, I'm going to go super conditioned, or I'm going to go and I'm going to put on a real good handstand? If that's what I'm just simple terms.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, and I think
real good.
I think it has to. I think it depends on like your strengths too. Like my strength coming up, like it was always the fitness routine. Like I was a gymnast. Like I had a lot of. And don't get me wrong. Like I'm still trying to improve. I'm still trying to learn new skills. But that was always more my strength. Whereas like the physique aspect was always where like I scored lower, especially like being a younger competitor in the industry. Like a lot of the girls who had 10, 15 plus years with me, they had way more muscle maturity. They had more time in the gym. Yes. So it was something I was just like, it's something I can't rush. I just have to keep putting in the work, focusing kind of more on that area, building the muscle, getting the conditioning. And as long as I keep up with my skills, still practicing, obviously, but to a point where I feel confident and comfortable with them. And then again, finding that balance for me, what works best for me. But somebody else, like they might have to put more emphasis on the gymnastic skills where they may already have the physique. They don't really have to do much to get ready physique wise. It's more of the routine, and then vice versa. Sometimes again, it's more the physique that somebody has to really focus and tune in on.
What about you, Izzy?
Well said.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of with Abby on this one, in the sense that like everyone is different. Every athlete has different preps. And from what I've experienced, obviously, I do not have years and years of experience. This is 2 years speaking. From what I've experienced, obviously, both preps have been very different. And both of them, I had to understand and learn and keep learning. And I think this is the good thing about the sport is we are constantly learning, and each year it's going to get harder and harder. There's insane athletes coming up. There's like the competition, as much as it's getting more scarce, there's still some incredible athletes out there. So quality. Yeah. The quality, the quality is definitely is mad. Yeah, that's all I can say. It's just crazy. And I experienced that like doing my first pro show this year. So I did the Europa Pro, and even that was just an experience like itself. The prep was very difficult this year. it wasn't healthy either. So again, a learning stage from that. We've definitely taken some things into consideration there and can learn for next time we prep. But being on that stage and being next to these athletes, again, like we're all pros, but everyone's had a different journey to get there. And again, when like I was speaking to Amy and having like her perspective on it, she's also been competing for how many years now, and like she's had like been to the Olympia, she's done the experience, like she obviously got her Olympia qualification at that show as well. So speaking to her about her experiences, and I think it was so important just to take everything from it. And at the end of the day, she was like, look, tomorrow we're all going to go back to work. And that really is what it is. So we're competing for the sake, the enjoyment of competing. So I think that really needs to take into our preps, and we need to enjoy every aspect of what we're doing, whether it's the cardio, whether it's the training, whether it's the gymnastics. And we're not always going to want to do it. But if there's an element of enjoyment, then you're always going to be motivated to kind of be in the gym and working towards that goal, I guess. But look, there's rough times during prep, or even in the off season. And one of my questions is going to be,
yes,
off season wise, how do you guys manage that? This goes for everyone. Like, how do you manage your, I wouldn't say motivation, but yeah, almost just like, how are you managing your skills? How do you manage your training when there's no direct goal? There's no sight of that, if that makes sense.
Monica?
Well, I'd like to just kind of, if you don't mind, because 30-something years, my brain is just like going through all
we want it all. We're here to hear you, so go for it. Everything. We want everything.
Well, and I love the responses. Well said, Abby. Of course, Oksana's got, all the experience. And Izzy, I love that you're talking right now about the enjoyment of it. Like, that's so important, because what happens is you hear, and I this is one of the things I used to tell the ladies that come through my fem camps. It stood for fun, educational, motivational fem camp. I had them for 15 years, original ladies fitness events in this industry. And I used to tell the girls, like, you are not getting, there's going to be 99.9% of you that come through these events that will never get paid to be on that stage. Never be, you are doing it, if that's your goal, out of a hobby, having fun, having a goal. Like, you need to get out there and have fun with this. Don't say, I have to go to the gym. You get to go to the gym. Like, that mindset of, this is a privilege. And there was one show in particular that I did in Toronto, and I remember one of the girls that competed in the show. She was from another country where women were not allowed to go to the gym. She left the country.
Sorry, guys. I think I have to.
Yeah.
Go.
Yes, it's okay. It's okay. No, it's okay.
Just give 2 hours. I thought we were going to start.
Yes.
Sorry.
I know.
You can cut. Yes, Stephen, you can cut my part. I don't want to disturb Monica.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm going to wrap this up.
We'll keep going, but if you, obviously, no, look,
Oksana, if you need to go, yes. Families first, girl. Families first.
And I can tell you, I've not mastered the perfect podcast yet. So let me tell you, this could be the best one, especially.
Yeah.
But no, go and be a mum. But just before you go, so answering Izzy's question, what should she do on off season? What's the best advice for the off season?
Off season?
The off season, preparing for something. How do you stay motivated?
There is no off season, I think. No
always on. Yeah, always on.
No,
it's lifestyle. It's lifestyle. You just keep doing what you're doing. It's maybe a little bit break for your brain, rest for your brain, but you're still on. You still do the same.
I like their
routine.
Off season. There's no off season.
Well, you know what?
There's a monitoring of your level of intensity.
Yeah.
Right. and allowing yourself to do a little bit under that level until you have to start ramping back up. But in this industry, there's really no off season. Maybe, that comes from the bodybuilding world where, okay, well, we're going to go and put some weight on so I can lift heavier, but for us girls, we never want that. You can't do the gymnastics and practice learning new things with more weight to your body, really. It just sets you up to have more injuries potentially. Yeah. So, and we don't feel good if we put a lot of weight on. So off season is just like, take that out of the brain. It's just like an ebb and flow, like this of the year, and you have your goals. You don't overbook yourself, right? I mean, you say no when you need to say no. You rest when you're called for rest, and your body's like, I need a break right now. Like, it, you just take it
and have a good time at your Christmas party tonight.
Yeah. Yes.
But let's let Oksana, you can go. It's all right. You're excused. Okay. But thank you so much for coming on. No, you've been wonderful. So make sure we post this. Oh, she's gone. There you go. No. Okay. This all works. This is exactly how it works. It's all raw. So it's all just us three. But answering Izzy's question, we know with Oksana, it's you're not on. Like, she's focused. You're not on. I mean, you're not never off, but you're focused differently. Monica, you were saying?
Well, in this industry, right, there's no off season.
Yeah, you're right, because of the division you've chosen.
Right, you just get that out of the mindset. Now you need to be conscious of when you need a rest and when you need your intensity levels to come down and then to inch back up. But you take it, in stride and just learn that rhythm. If you've got coaches and people you're working with, then you go in advance and you sit down and say, okay, here's the year. Here's the goals that I have for the year competitively, like analyzing how much time do you need before you get ready for a show. Now, that's something you'll learn and keep growing. And this is kind of brings us back to the question, Steve, you gave originally, and everyone was answering, and my brain's like, oh my gosh, I have so many things. But when I got into fitness again, 91, I was 20. So Abby, how old are you?
I'm 27 now.
20? Okay, awesome. So the body changes so much between 20 and 30 and then 30 and 40. And so now you can imagine, I've been weight training since I was 19. I'm 55 now. I competed for 26 years. Like, I've been doing this lifestyle, like Oksana said, it is truly just your lifestyle. There's going to be ebb and flow because of work and family and dynamics. If you get in a relationship or, you have children or whatever it is, like, there's these ebb and flows, but it's always the mindset of, I need to get my heart rate up. I need to exercise to the best of my ability, the days that I can. I need to eat a good 80 to 90% of the time. And of course, when you're getting ready for stage, then you're dialed into that. So with all that thought, but so going back to my early days of fitness, we were told not to be too hard, not to be too soft.
I don't know how you do that.
What is that?
What do they want?
I don't know how you do that.
We would show up at the shows and, oh, you're too soft this time. Oh, you're too hard this time. It was so confusing all the time. And it was and that's the journey of the industry for me. It was a lot of, well, I'm not lean enough this time. But when you get on, what they say, and then when you get on a stage and you're compared to other girls that maybe are a lot leaner, okay, well, maybe I need to be leaner now, right? And then you had to learn how to pose. Well, I was a track athlete and a horseback rider. I did not do dance. I did not do gymnastics. I lived way out in the country and in the county, and I had a trampoline. I was self-taught gymnastics. That's how I taught myself to get on stage. It was a series of learning new things for everything. I hired I didn't hire, she actually sponsored me, but she was when I first started, I told you I had a gown round where I had to speak on stage. I was a track athlete and a horseback rider. Like, I showed horses and ran track. I didn't have to present myself with a smile and, like you said, wearing high heels and wearing a gown. So my mom ended up allowing me to go into a modeling class that was kind of interesting. It was her hairdresser, and her hairdresser, which of course lived in town, so in the big city. So we would drive in, and once a week, I think for 6 weeks, I got to take a modeling class at 14. That was fun. And that was my first photo shoot and experience with makeup and getting my hair done and all that. And then moving into when I was 19 and 20, wanting to compete. And I was like, I was introduced to someone that did, that prepped girls for pageants. So she took me on and she sponsored me. And I went to her house once a week. I just went to her house and I'd put my heels on and bring a skirt. And she taught me in her home how to walk in my heels and how to walk into the room. And then she helped me put my speech together and how I was going to present that. And then I had a guy at the gym that was coaching me, and he would stop me in the middle of the set and he'd say, okay, tell so-and-so your philosophy on fitness, because I had to be able to say it naturally. So anyways, these were ways that back then, I was able to, prepare myself for the shows. But all through the 20s were really a challenge of showing up the way they wanted you to show up on stage. And you didn't really know, because they didn't really know the industry was just beginning. Mm-hmm. And then I know that 98 and 99, I did a different nutrition plan. I had different people working with me, and I came in obviously in 98, like spot on. It was amazing. I had no idea that I was going to be spot on, because, you see yourself and all of a sudden you're on stage and you see everyone else, and everyone else looks great, because we didn't have social media. You couldn't see everyone, but back then, people show up from all around the world, and then you're on stage with them and you just look around at everyone looks great. So I didn't know I was going to win 98. That was a complete, amazing opportunity that God allowed me to have. 99, I sabotaged myself. Wow. And I'll say, this is one thing that this is something I've really not talked about much. Okay. I've literally probably in my whole existence of this industry, I've probably shared it with 5 people. And it's not something that is a huge deal, but it ended up to be a big deal, because it cost me my win at 99 potentially again. Okay. So I was dating a guy, and if I could go back in time, I probably would have tried not to date this guy, because he was a great guy, but he really didn't enhance my life other than so I won't go into that. But my point was, the relationship probably wasn't the right relationship for me to be in. And in 99 at the Olympia, it was the first year that was held in Vegas. Very first year in Vegas, 1999. It was Fitness Olympia. And I was disappointed probably that he was out with his friends. It was the night before I was supposed to compete. I had peanut butter in the room, and I ate more peanut butter than I should have. I should have never even had peanut butter. And I was on point. I was ready, like I was in 98. And I woke up and I looked good when I woke up, but how that starts, you start getting that soft look from what you ate. It showed up so bad. And I went into the physique round soft looking, like watery soft. And I was so distraught. And I had never really experienced what the emotional toll can take, and how it can, you do one thing for, it was probably at 30 seconds. I had a couple of spoonfuls of peanut butter, because I'm in my hotel room over, stressed out over this guy, which I should have never been dating. He was out. He wasn't, and he wasn't there supporting me, or I don't know, caring for what I had to do the next day, or got to do the next day, get on stage for the Olympia, and he probably didn't even think anything of it. And I don't even think he knows now that even happened. I never told him. I never talked about it, but I sabotaged myself, and I was so soft for the first bikini rounds. And then I came back in and did the one piece, the cat suit. Remember, we did the cat suit routine. So that helped, because that drew water out, because then I had to go, and I was super hot and sweaty in that stupid cat suit. and I ended up pulling that water out from that routine. And then the next routine I did, and then we had the 2-minute routine. So by the time the night show was there, I had come back down. I ended up 4th, but I probably could have won that show. and I could have given myself. And that was my last fitness. I think I was so preoccupied with this guy, and then I had all these other job opportunities. And I think I just got kind of tired of trying to keep up gymnastics when all of like you girls with that background that were coming in, and I just couldn't keep up with the level of gymnastics that was coming, even though I had a coach and was learning new things and all that. But I think my heart just kind of lost a little bit of that drive, and I still had a lot going on with the magazines and guest appearances. So it wasn't like I was missing out on the business side of it. I just kind of lost interest. And then he distracted me for a good 4.5 years, but till I finally got out of that. But in my 30s, competing, again, different. Again, we start, perimenopause can start like in the year 30 to 35. Perimenopause is about your 15 years prior to menopause. And I know it's hard to think about it right now. And so thankful that nowadays there's so much information that you can gain by researching. And back then for me, there was no information. You couldn't go ask your doctor about, what's going to happen? Do I need to be thinking about anything? There was no information. And so no one ever talked about what's coming 45 plus. Yeah. So I was still, so the 30s were still a challenge because the hormones were, doing whatever they're doing. And of course, then I got married, and it was just this whole other thing. Relationships take a toll on the competitor, and the industry takes a toll. So there's a lot to be said about being
most mindful of your aura, like who you allow in, that sort of thing.
And not yes. And just having the mindset of who you are doing life with.
Yeah.
Are they, in favor? Do they benefit? Do you benefit them? Can you be a blessing in each other's lives? So moving forward from that, I think going back now into my 40s. So I'm at this place now, married to a guy that I knew in high school, Brad, who Stephen had mentioned earlier. He's an incredible guy. He's a horse trainer. So I'm back involved with horses, like what I grew up in. I've been able to run track and compete at the world levels in the Masters USATF stuff. I'm a 4-2-100 sprinter. And interesting enough, in my 40s, I was competing in track and in my last few figure shows. And I was doing Ninja Warrior training and obstacle course stuff too. And I had so much fun just being an athlete and competing. And I wasn't in the IFBB anymore because I had to let go of that after 15 years. It was just kind of smothering. So I moved into different organizations and continued to compete at world levels with different organizations and give myself other opportunities outside of what I'd known for so long, just because I was like, if I'm going to keep doing this, I need to do this in a different way. So, and it also, continued to keep my career and my things outside of being a competitor going. But my 40s were the most fun because I got to train how I really wanted to train with my track. And, I think, Abby, you said you're track. Izzy, are you track as well from your past? No?
No.
Well,
no.
So I was literally on my last few shows on the track 4 days a week, sprints, different types of sprinting routines, like if I was going to go compete. And I was in the Ninja Warrior training twice a week, the gym twice a week, and no cardio. It was amazing. And my food was all different. But then again, my body was so different because now how many years have I been doing weight training and all this stuff and the gymnastics? So the muscle density, I've always been more muscular anyway. So the muscle was there. It was more about maintaining and being athletic and being strong and just doing the things I loved and with a man that supported me. And what a difference in my body and in my mentality and in my ability to do that and come in the way. And the one year that was really fun was in 2013. I decided I was competing in track, and I was like, okay, I had opportunity with sponsors to do the World's Masters track meet in Brazil that year. It was in the beginning of October, and there was a world championship for the WBFF in September. So I was like preparing all year for my track. I dialed it in for the stage in September in that year, and I ended up winning the World's Pro Figure WBFF thing. And then I think 3 weeks later, I was in Brazil, and I got to kind of put a little bit of food back in and go do the World's Masters track meet and got some first and seconds there. It was one of my most fun years, but just but the body was so different because of the mentality, the hormonal piece, the years and years. And Izzy, you said that too.
Yeah.
The years of training that just stack on. And so, this is a longevity. Steve, you said earlier, the longevity of this. It can be a long journey for you. I remember doing the Arnold one year, and there was a brand new girl on the scene, Mandy Blank. If you did some research, you might have seen Mandy Blank. She was incredible. She was a gymnast and dancer, and she was beautiful, blonde, and great athlete. She's no longer with us, but I remember she did the Arnold's. It was her first year of the Arnold's, I think. And we were leaving from prejudging, and I had already done 10 years or 12 years or something. And she looked at me and I said, well, can you imagine doing 10 more years of this? And she's like, I think she'd done 2 years at that point. And she was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Like, it was like so far in advance to think. Of course, then, here we are 30 years, but longevity is this sport really, you say no where you say no, you don't compromise yourself. You don't allow things to, and I'm so thankful that I never did anything, that could bring me grief now, because the internet, everything's out there, right? So it's like no one can research far enough back to find anything on me, because I never compromised what I would do or not do, or, who I would be behind the scenes, or what I would agree to or not agree. And it didn't mean that I always had the best contracts or didn't win all the shows, because there's a lot of shows I didn't win because a lot of things I said no to. So just encouraging. It sounds like you both have great mindset about this, and the athletic ability is there, and you have great support. It sounds like there's so many great coaches out there now. I think Mindy is awesome. If you say hi to her for me, that'd be awesome. If you talk to her.
Of course.
Yeah.
So it's fun to share.
Yeah, I think, just listening to everything you just said, Monica, I think, I'm just saying, like, you grow wisdom with age, whether you like it or not. Some people, unfortunately, are stupid enough not to understand that when wisdom is handed to you, and you can look back and look at wisdom. I think as well, Monica will say the same thing. I have nothing to look back to. I have everything to look forward to. Mm-hmm. And thankfully, there is one thing, and it's so minor. It is the gym. It is that great diet. It is that you could do your best at any age you are and have a career. As well as you, Abby, having a career. I had careers. Now I'm in business. I've got a coffee company, but I've got this business now too, and Izzy as well. I think that what I've realized is it doesn't matter. It's who you bring into your life and who you have around in your circle.
Huge.
And it's not just about loving the gym. That can ruin your career. That can ruin your job. It can ruin promotions. It can ruin competitions. It can ruin everything. It's just got nothing to do with just the stage. I think it's the hardest bit. Monica will like this one. You got to have a faith. You got to have faith. And what I mean by that is faith is always the truth. It doesn't lie to you ever. And it will get you through. You know if you're a good person, you know if they're a good person. You're patient enough with them to give them a go, whoever that is in your life. But there is a point where it's not so hard when you have faith to let go and continue pursuing your career. So the most important thing is, it's definitely who you bring into your life. And it's not that they need to come to your shows. They need to come and support you, but you need to support them. It's not like Brad is, cowboy, does horses. Monica would never want him to stop that. Oh my God, she would say, please keep going. I love it. And he's probably the same way in return. It is about embracing the other person and what they do and wanting to be a part of it. And I think yes.
Can I say something with that? That's because it's kind of funny. We were talking about social media, and I haven't done a lot of this in the past, but Brad started training with me this year, like at the gym, right? Mm. And he's like in a place where he's actually, for the first time in his life, he's 54. He's working out, and he'll go to the gym without me now. This is like the first time, Cowboy. It's awesome. He's putting on some muscle. Like he's always been, on the lean side, thin side, and he's having fun with it, and he feels confident. We're learning. So today I was teaching him some new I was teaching him Olympic lift. Izzy, you'll appreciate this. The clean and push, clean and press. Yeah. So I was teaching him that, but it's the first time he's ever done anything like that. But so a few weeks ago or a couple of months ago, he started playing around videotaping me at the gym, and he's created all these fun videos of me training for social media now. And it's so funny because it looks like I have some fancy person following me around creating these videos, and it's Brad. And so he started doing this at the gym because I think he wanted to, he was just like analyzing my form, and then he was, working out with me. So he would video, and then he would do a set, and then he started playing around with doing the reels, and he's like, why are we doing these reels? And so he started putting reels together, and then he came with me to the Olympia because we're working on a new project for next year. And so we went to the Olympia to promote the project and to be at the Olympia and all the things. So he went and he did in 3 days. So basically, 3 days, I guess. He did 25 reels for me at the Olympia. So if you go and look back at the Olympia, all my reels on Instagram, he did all of these reels, and he was just like doing capturing stuff and then capturing, and he was so fast at it. I'm like, who are you? Like, you're cowboy, no, but it's someone that he's paying attention, like you said.
He supports you, and he wants to be involved, and that's how he can be involved.
Yeah. And then the very, very next day after we're done with the Olympia, Saturday night, Sunday morning, 6 a.m., we flew to 2 weeks at a horse show for him. And I was there with him to support him and his clientele and all that. It was a very, very big show there. So it is important to, like you said, support one another, and finding, and marriage is not always easy.
Especially nowadays.
But finding that person that you can bless one another, I like to use the word, and benefit one another, and you actually like them.
Yeah,
it's not just about love.
Yeah, like.
Because love
is nothing. Like is good.
You need to like somebody, and they need to like you, and be able to understand what you do. So that's a big part of it. Yeah. Well, okay. We could probably keep going forever.
No, I'll see if Abby, you got any questions for Monica? Or any questions?
Well, I was just going to say, thank you for sharing all that, Monica, especially, again, like just to learn from somebody who's been through so much experience, and just how the sport's evolved and that sort of thing, just to hear more of your journey and that sort of thing. Like we can gain from that. And it's phenomenal. Kind of like how, Steve, you said something about like, I don't know, like learning more of the wisdom, like from people of experience, like taking that, like, and not just thinking, okay, I can just do this myself, or like, you don't have to just learn through yourself. Like you can learn from others' mistakes and like their experience to mitigate that, because it's only going to make you a better athlete person as well. So thank you for that. I actually have one question for Izzy, if that's okay. So your pro debut, I like to ask people like after they have their pro debut, because one, you looked phenomenal. And I already know your skill base it's really, really phenomenal. Like you're a very well-balanced athlete in the terms of like your strength skills, your power, tumbling, that sort of thing. But how was your pro debut? Like how was the experience, that sort of thing?
Oh gosh, I could talk about this for hours, but I'll try and keep it short. So overall, it wasn't what I wanted. And I'm not just saying that for the result, I'm saying that for more the actual experience side of things and leading up to the show. The last 4 weeks of the prep were really, really miserable. I got pretty sick. I had issues with like my lungs, breathing, and we know with routines, like that's not exactly ideal. I had to strip like cardio. We had to kind of give extra rest, and it was almost like it just felt so demoralizing, because it was like you've worked so hard to get to this point and it's all being stripped. So the last 4 weeks, it was just more of like, okay, don't let this stress you. Let's just get to the end. And there were so many moments that it was like, is it worth it right now? Is it worth my health? Am I like, should I pull out? But everything was booked. Like I was flying from the UK, from Australia to the UK. I was flying from UK to Germany, and I had all of that booked. That like I couldn't really refund it, and I was like, all right, we'll go through with it. We'll do it. Once it's done, it's done. We'll then prioritize our health straight after. And then leading up to the show, like a week, 2 weeks, because I put so much pressure on myself. There was so much stress involved. And I just got on stage and I kind of like froze, like how I kind of like how I explain it is like I just froze up. All my posing, none of my posing looked like my check-in shots. I was like, damn it. So everything like I had like practiced, and posing was one thing that I actually really like tried to nail this year, because I was like, last year wasn't my strong suit. So I was like, all right, posing, like we're going to put a lot of emphasis on this. Froze. And then I remember walking off stage, and I almost just was like, I don't want to walk back on. I messaged my coach at the time, and I said, look, like I don't want to go back on stage. I feel like I've truly like, not embarrassed, I think I said, like I just feel humiliated. Same. But
you hold yourself to a very high standard. Like, you know what you're capable of.
Yeah. And I didn't feel like I put that out there. And then I saw, and then this brings back to social media, but my Instagram was going off of like photos of people and like pages that were coming up. And I was like looking at the photos, and I was like, fuck, like this is not it. So then we had a couple hours in between this time between our physique and our routine round, but they weren't exactly like, okay, you're going to be on at this time. It was kind of just like, oh, you'll just be on after these categories. And I was like, all right, cool. So we didn't really know. So we all got ready, warmed up and everything. And then it was like, okay, cool, routine rounds. And it was just more so like, this is my chance to do what I enjoy. Like, it goes back to that enjoyment aspect. I enjoy my routine. I created a routine that I wanted to perform and that I wanted to like enjoy on stage. And that was like such a priority for me. So I knew that was then my next focus. Let's just focus on this routine, put out a good one. Again, I was still so nervous. I was still so stressed out that, again, it wasn't the routine that I wanted to put out. Again, you probably know how that feels when you practice for so long, so long, and you get on stage and it's just like, that's not like what you practice. So it's almost like a little bit heartbreaking. And then it was, so I think for my experience wise, it was so much to take on. But I don't see it as a negative. I'll always see that as a positive of like, okay, right, next time I know stress cannot be a factor. Like, that can be like this, cannot be a factor. And again, knowing your limits and knowing when to pull back and when to push, and if you need to pull out, do it, because otherwise it's going to cost your health at the end of the day. And post show again was just that kind of, right, now we need to recover. Now our body actually is the priority here. And not just body, your mind's a priority. And most people don't realize how much you lose yourself just in a prep alone, and then trying to regain that and trying to regain back to some sort of normality after.
Sounds like the perfect taboo.
And I will say, like, this one show, like, it does not define you. Like, it's like, take it as an experience, and like, you're literally only going to bring better next time. Like, that's the thing. Cause like, you're a very talented athlete, and you're also very young. So you have like this really bright future. Like, you're going to do multiple shows. The stage is always there. And like you said, like, when you need to prioritize your health and that sort of thing. And then, I will say, like, the stress, like what I've learned, like with the nervous system, like mental emotional stress is more impactful on our bodies than like even like a physical stressor. Like that mental emotional, like, not only does it affect the spine, but like the nervous system, if you're more in this like fight or flight, and I could go on way too long about this, but I'll kind of summarize it. But like, if you're more in that fight or flight dominant state, your body literally can't digest optimally. So your digestion's going to come to a halt. It's going to impair your sleep. And because if you think about it, if you're constantly in this like fight or flight alert state, you can't tap into a deep sleep. That's when we start to see things like our patients. You might have an issue falling asleep. You might have an issue staying asleep. You're going to wake up multiple times in the night because there's this constant like alert survival mode. And that is literally time where you literally like heal, grow, repair. And as a bodybuilder, that is key. If you're not tapping into that deep sleep, you can't heal, grow, repair. And then obviously digestion as well. Like, so it literally just throws off our whole system. Then you got the water retention, the inflammation. So it's just finding ways to kind of deal with that mental, emotional component too, because we're already putting so much physical stress on our bodies. So it's
this is, Abby, exactly what I did in 99. Emotional stress. Sabotaged my physical body.
Yeah. And that, as soon as you said that, I was like, she literally probably just went this straight fight or flight. And then like the night before, like if like it's throwing off digestion, and then especially like peanut butter of like all foods, like it's a fat, it already is slower digesting. And then you're probably putting that even more to a halt. And then your body's just going to inflame and not tap into that sleep.
We're talking the late 90s. So Abby, I was your age. And it was late 90s. We didn't have all the things we have now, and the knowledge and understanding. And
for sure.
I mean, I had been eating peanut butter. I had been a little bit here, a little bit there.
Yeah, so your body's used to it.
Yeah, but I just was like, oh, I'm gonna have extra. So and any little bit extra, and then with it, like I said, the emotional,
the mental,
part of it, it showed up big time the next day, and I was just like,
just all of it combined.
I think that you can't. I think the great thing about Izzy's story is that's what an athlete does. That's the difference between. I'm not going to say that between winners and losers. It's not about winners or losers. I think it's the difference to get past it, and though in it may have been disappointment, there's sheer relief that you did it, and there's knowledge base now. Now you got something to work with, learn from, and you'll have, when you get to our age, you'll have wisdom, and you'll be able to share that story as we're sharing the peanut butter story. You share the peanut butter story, because it's not peanut butter today, is it, Monica? We don't worry about peanut butter, but we still get peanut butter stories even today. I had a week.
What's your peanut butter story?
It's like, but the thing is,
it's almost like defining moments that like just, they teach you a lesson, and they make you learn. And exactly.
I think horrible timing for a lesson.
Yeah, it always is. It always is a horrible time for a lesson. But I think Izzy's lesson, it's inevitable. It just came early. I think everyone's had that lesson. Even you, Abby, I'm sure you've had a time when you just know you just want to get through this, and you and there's a word of give up, but you're so caught up in it that you'll be damned if you give up, but you prefer to go down.
Hey,
guns
can
blazing.
Can I share another interesting story that you girls will really relate to?
Yes.
So again,
and boy,
wasn't
what about boy? One boy?
Well, yes, but you weren't a gymnast, so maybe you were. But okay, so self-taught, round off back handsprings, back tuck, front tucks, aerials.
I saw aerials,
which is crazy for self-taught as well.
Right, but I muscled through them.
I don't get it. Then you're right. I don't get it.
Muscled through it, no fear, muscled through it. Off the trampoline to the ground, out in front of our house. We had 20 acres out in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, Mom, come watch what I can do. And then I was like, I'm going to do as many back handsprings in a row as I was old. So 14, 15. I was at 14 when I started teaching myself this. So mind you, my first show, I was 20. And I remember going, it was the year, my first year competing was in 91. So I did 2 shows in 91. And somewhere in the middle of those shows, I decide, was it 91 or this was 90, maybe 94. Maybe it was 94 when I was competing again. My choreographer is 94. So in 94, I had a better choreographer in 94. I actually had the original Silver Spur dancer for the San Antonio Spurs. The original dance team, I had the choreographer for that original dance team. Nice. And then, it went on from there. There was the first year the girls were.
When you need a team. Exactly. Specify.
Yeah, right. So she wanted to get me on a stage. She's like, we need to get you on a stage so you can practice getting on a stage. I'm like, okay. So she found a stage, and my trainer, my best friend, my mom, I don't remember, I had a handful of people came to be my audience while I got on stage. They were going to run my music. I rented the stage. They were going to run my music for me. And it was actually a nice stage. Like, it was big enough. It was a real stage at a little theater or something, or it was a school. I can't remember, something here in San Antonio. And so I go down there, and it was really dark though. Like, they only had maybe 1 or 2 lights on, and all the sides of the stage were really dark. And no one was there to flip lights on or something. And I got freaked out by the dark, not because of the dark, but I have like challenged eyesight. And so when I started doing my, mind you, no gymnastics lessons at the time, started doing like my back handsprings and back flips and stuff, I ended up falling on my head because I got weirded out with the dark behind me. Like I lost perception of what where the stage was and the dark versus light. And I had no experience of being on stage either, really. Like this was all new for me. Of course, track, you don't have to be on a stage. So I freaked out. I was like, I can't even do my routine. Like I got so freaked out about that and I almost broke my neck probably because I went to do a back handspring and I just fell back instead of like going.
Yeah.
So I went outside to the grass outside of this stage and I made myself do a back handspring on the grass. Because I was like determined, that's not like you fall off a horse. Like I grew up with horses. You fall if you get on. Like you don't, don't wake any time. Like you fall water skiing, you get back up on the water ski and go do it. So that was my mentality. Okay, I'm not doing it here, but I'll go outside and I'm going to do it in the grass outside. So I went out in the grass, which is what I grew up in, found a little patch. I got my back handspring and back tuck and we said, we're done here. Like I'm not going back on that stage. I don't need to. So moving forward, I didn't have any issues. Now, went through, ended up winning my next show. That ended up putting me on the cover of Muscle Fitness, la, 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 la. I'm in 1997 or 98, I can't remember. I get hired as guest appearance all around the world, really, because no one knew what fitness was. Brand new to the industry. So here I am competing in the magazines. I got invited to, this bodybuilding show, come show what fitness is. And then the next year they would bring fitness in. So, women could see what fitness was in that location. Well, I got hired to come to San Antonio to do an appearance in San Antonio where I used to live, right? Because now I live in LA. You know where the appearance was? Held at that stage that I freaked out on. And I was like,
everything comes back full circle.
I remember showing up going, oh no, this is the same stage. And you don't show up and tell the promoter, well, I can't, last time I was here, I've got to do this. And I ended up doing my routine perfectly, for that day. And it all worked out. And I remember feeling so satisfied. Like I won
redemption.
Something. Yeah. It's like that was a win for me. That was a PR for me. That was like
doesn't own you anymore.
Highlight. Yeah. And it was like, oh my gosh, I got through it and no one knew any different. And of course, we didn't have those opportunities to tell. I don't know if I've ever shared that story before, but it's just funny. And I know you girls would have understood, like me, like literally almost falling like to break my neck instead of, doing my hand, like back handspring. And anyways, like, oh gosh, that was so crazy. But, I think it's that mentality of I'm an athlete, number one. I'm not going to allow something to have, put fear over me and what I know I'm capable of. And you just go out with a different mindset to go out and make it happen. And it worked. And it still works to this day.
That's amazing. The mind is a powerful thing. It really is.
Because we're coming now towards the end, and I will let everyone go. But like I said, do you think? No, because do you think
that it's only been 3 hours?
I know it's
Just
crazy.
looking at that.
I know.
Time flies.
Long form podcasts are in, by the way, just letting you know that. But having said that, do you think because Monica, you can help answer this as well and help. Do you think because pro cards are handed out so easily right now in any division to hold people in? Because think about it, you can be an amazing amateur and an average pro, right? And do you think, and I know back in your day, Monica, from what I hear, you had to win world titles to get pro cards. So it wasn't given out anywhere at any show. You had to really have some really amazing titles behind you to get a pro card. But do you think that the fact that they diminish posing, where they're everyone's complaining about reducing pro cards, bringing back posing, which probably will bring back fitness. Do you think that has cost the sport dramatically, one? And two, I think the advice I would give anybody listening right now, especially wanting to do fitness, and I think fitness to me is the only entertainment of anything to do with bodybuilding. And I think it shows that's the only place where you can find an athlete, a true athlete, that can withstand the hard work of being that person physically, mentally, in fitness level, you name it, everything. I just think maybe take away winning shows, but get better at the shows to continually move forward, to get known, to be recognized in the industry, for the industry knowing you're around, then trying to aim for that number one winning spot. What do you think, Monica?
Okay, Stephen, take me back. What is the question?
Oh, sorry. The question is...
I'm like, I'm hearing what you're saying. It all sounds great, but I'm like, what is the question?
Oh, the question was, sorry, do you think that the amount of pro cards that have been handed out and the way they're handed out, and the fact that everybody is not entering shows, like, all right, now they're gone from the amateur league, they can't do that, but just get yourself into pro shows, treat yourself like an amateur again. I'm thinking, get back on that stage and continue performing to get known, to be recognized, because I think that's where you need to be, on stage.
Well, definitely the stage helps develop somebody's personality or character or abilities. And also, yeah, like you said, and I guess it goes back to what I said at the beginning, was just, don't count on those shows to do anything for you. Figure out, is there something? Yeah. And of course, Abby, I mean, you've already got, a career going, and this is a hobby for you, it sounds like, and something you enjoy. And as long as it fits in your abilities and you're still able to keep your job, to the extent you need to keep your job going and your customers happy, like it can only be a benefit. And I'm sure your customers, clients, are probably your patients, I guess, are probably inspired by what you're doing and probably excited to hear about it. And so, and Izzy, I don't know exactly what you do, work wise.
She's a PT,
outside of fitness.
Personal training, yeah.
Oh, well,
coach, yeah.
Oh, well, for you too. It's a great fit for what you do. And I think that's the biggest thing, is the people that just go in and, think that the show is going to do something for them.
Yeah.
It's not, right? It's really not. You have to use that to your advantage. The way they hand out pro cards, I mean, it's been an issue forever, really, because even when I was coming up, like I said, I won my first show there, turned me IFBB pro. And then after that, they were doing a lot of handing out pro cards to a lot of girls because, they were trying to build the fitness, Yeah. And then when figure came, they were doing it for figure, because now they're trying to build that group of girls. And so now, right. And now, obviously there's a lot. So I don't really know. I'm not kind of following right now, like what's the criteria now. One thing I did hear recently was, and I have two trains of thoughts with it. So they tried to say, and maybe get this wrong, but I think I got it right. What I heard was, if you haven't competed in an IFBB show for, I don't know, is it 1 year, 2 years? I don't remember what it was.
2 years.
That you're not allowed to say you're a pro or something, right? So I haven't competed in IFBB since 2010. Although I kept competing until 2016 in other industries or organizations. Am I not allowed to say that I'm a pro I have an Olympia win and I was on stage, all those years in IFBB? Like, so I get the fact that, they're trying to say, well, I think that leads, or talk about like Oksana or Linda Murray, 8-time Miss Olympia. I mean, she hasn't competed since the early 90s. She's not allowed to say she's a pro anymore. So I get what they're trying to do, I think, is say the people that maybe, I'm going to get my pro card, and then all of it, they're just done. And they just want to say, I'm a pro. And it kind of waters down, especially because they're probably not really maintaining themselves in a light that shows, what a pro athlete maybe looks like or behaves like. I don't know. There's, I guess, two sides, but the other side of it is they want to keep getting that money for people to just keep their pro card, because I don't know what it costs now to be a pro. Is it, a year per year?
So it's basically like a membership thing. So what they're doing is, it's like, if you don't pay, like you can go, I think you can miss 1 year without paying for your pro card, because it's like a membership thing. You have to pay every year in order to compete on the pro stage.
Right.
And so I think you can skip 1 year without paying it, But if you go more than 2 years without paying for that pro card is like basically stripped. And I think you have to go back to, which I don't agree with, because I think once you get your pro card, you're at that pro level.
Yeah. You shouldn't have to pay your membership. I always thought that was ridiculous that, and it was, of course I would get sponsors to pay for mine, because I had sponsorships for different things, but I mean, still, I don't know. It used to be $300. What is it now per year?
I think it's $275, I believe.
How much is it?
I think that's, I don't
know how much I paid.
I know. I think I paid at the end of like the 2025 season. It was 2024 when I paid. So
Australia as well.
Does it sound right for pro athletes to be paying to be a pro? Like I feel like
they make enough revenue off of amateur. Like I could see amateur, yes, paying like a membership. I feel like the pros, like that's definitely. Those are the pros are what are when pros are showing up and competing, that is literally what's driving the industry. And then the amateurs are obviously like, if they're paying, like, but they're striving to be a pro. And it's almost like okay, once you turn pro, like it would also kind of be nice in a sense of like, okay, you've earned your spot. Yeah. We're now competing to like grow this like entertainment for people to buy tickets to watch and watch live streams. And because it's the athletes who are really bringing the revenue in at the end of the day. So.
Right. No, well, exactly. And that's when, in the old days, we had all the magazines that helped us build our career. The publishers would do things for us to advertise for free for us. Like the publishers would put advertising for me in the magazines for free because I was in their magazine and they wanted to, we worked together on things. And if I had events that I was hosting, they would do advertising for me, or they'd come to an event and write about it and help you develop your career. Like those were things that the industry was so good at in the past. And now it's like, you're just out there trying to figure out how to build your own career. And you don't really have support unless you have some company that believes in you. But then they want so much out of you. They want you to be the talent, the creative director, the text writer and the lighting expert. And anyways, but
and do discount codes in the end.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
so
get all of your. So, anyways,
we'll finish with this. Sorry.
Longevity in every.
Those are the main thing,
I was telling you,
figure it out.
It's longevity. I don't want to go back and challenge my 20-year-old self, but I'm challenging my 50-year-old self, and that's a competition in itself. Both how I turn up physically against past Olympians. Where are we today? I'll go up against them because we're all at our age, but also in business, as a dad, relationships. It all matters to me. So it's unison in all of that. So maybe Izzy, yours is a bit closer, but if you could go back and what you know now, what would you take now back to the beginning of your journey that you think, I wish I knew this now?
This was one of my questions that I had written down as well. That's
did
crazy.
You?
Yeah.
I actually had one like that too.
All right, so what would you take? What would you go, if only I knew this now, I take it back to the beginning. And what do you wish you had at the beginning you had now?
I think that one of the things that I wish I hadn't allowed to happen was being involved with someone that I thought, he was the one at the time, but naive, and when I finally started to share the concerns that I had I shared with my brother first, my older brother, and he was like, you need to get out of this. Right. And it was that by that time it was 4 years, and it was right smack in the middle of my career. And so I wish that I had, I just wish I had not allowed so much effort to be put into that, even though, and I probably knew, if I was really honest, I probably knew in the beginning that it wasn't what I should be involved with. And I continued to let it go for 4 years, and I still worked and all that. But I'm sure that there was a lot I missed out on, a lot of choices that I made that weren't right. I already shared one with you that, probably changed a lot of the trajectory of some of that, in my 30s, opportunities that maybe when I meet the Lord someday, he's going to show me the the movie of my life in a flash of a second. I'm like, man, I missed out on some cool things because I allowed that. And then I didn't learn from it. And I allowed the next thing in my, getting married to probably the wrong person. Again, I probably saw the red flags. Now that I know what I didn't want moving forward. And now I'm okay. I learned my lesson, got out of that ended up that marriage. And then have learned so much about being a wife, and I put priority into building my spirit and building my relationship with my husband and knowing what God calls a wife to be and who is that, because that's where I am in my life now, right? And yes, there's still career, there's still other people, but it's at the end of the day, it's me and him. And I think that has been a real big journey for where I am now. And that's a lot of what I'm writing about, and my new state where I am in this passion projects that I'm doing now are all about faith and fitness. And, I've been told through probably my whole life, if I've ever heard it, it was always body, soul, spirit, right? We're 3 parts, body, soul, spirit. Well, in the scripture, it says that we are spirit, soul, body. And when I started grasping what that is and why is this, and building our spirit is way more important than building the body. So these are things that I'm writing about now. I call them my passion projects. But I still have another show that I'm putting together with Wendy Fortino and a production team for next year. So we're working on that. That's so I'm still doing and renovating. I always try to bring something new to my career, something different. And that's something I've always tried to do in all of this journey is stay on the path of being an athlete. How can I utilize being an athlete for not only myself, but to bless others? How can I speak into others people's lives, whether it's one conversation, quick conversation at the grocery store with the person checking out, or or a long conversation here. How can I impart not wisdom only, but encouragement, and just bless someone else with words? So this is a big part of where I am now in my life. And I guess, like you said, I'm over 50 and I've had to learn all the hormonal things.
Hey guys, just a quick shout out to one of our amazing sponsors, Macro Foodz. You know how I feel about food. Food is very important to me. Macrofoods.com.au. Go check them out. And to get that little bit more off the price, use code MTP10 to get 10% off all your orders.
I had some brilliant conversations with some of the guys that, we've never interviewed with a female before, and it was so fun. But yeah, they're longer ones. But anyways, I guess things get all turned around. But anyways,
they are long form, and I think it's because I think short form is a topic. Maybe someone wants to know about in 40 minutes about how to do a chest routine. You can get that in 40 minutes, 50, but long form, you realize you're diving into the person, and I think people are liking that now. I do. And I know I don't watch it in one go. I watch it for the whole week. I'm basically driving, listening, breakfast, listening.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that's what you've picked up, wish you knew now from the past. But what do you wish from the past you had now? Or what has the past given you today?
Oh, gosh. Oh, well, memories. I mean, just going back to me deciding to move to LA, a country girl.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone out there. I knew 2 people, but I didn't really know them. I knew them, but they were just kind of like, oh, I know this person. I mean, it was a shot in the dark. I mean, if you think about it, what am I going to do out there? I didn't have a job description. I thought, well, I could wait at tables. I was working for Budweiser as a Bud girl, so they could, we'll connect you to Budweiser out in LA. I never did that because I got started working right away, thankfully, getting modeling jobs, and then, getting ready for the show and all that. And I had some money saved up. My car was already paid off. So that was a huge deal. And what an awesome opportunity, because back then, the whole industry revolved around Los Angeles. Weeder Publications wasn't, too far a drive. Obviously Gold's Gym, Venice, all all the fitness photographers were there. Nowhere else. Maybe San Diego, but everyone was there. And it was an incredible time to be in the industry and to show up and want to work and want to be an athlete and not be like looking just, who can I, I don't know, who can I just go out with or whatever, young, silly girls do, but I was like there with a mission and I didn't know what my mission was, but I was there on a mission and it evolved. And, it became the face of fitness for a long time and what fitness was. And it was quite an honor and quite an exciting journey. And I just, I was out there for 10 years before I moved back to Texas and that's a whole nother journey. But every 10 years has been really awesome. And I'm thankful to have every moment, even with the peanut butter story, like as much as that was devastating, it's fun to, nowadays it's kind of fun to share. But I've even had judges that were high up in the industry that have gotten out of the industry and have sent me private message that I have saved, and I've never done anything with them, but have told me that, there was a lot of politics back when I was competing and that I probably should have been making six figures, but they held me back for different reasons because I wouldn't sign certain contracts and stuff. So there's a lot of those kind of things that I've dealt with in my journey too, but I've just never wanted to compromise, my reputation, who I am. And I always wanted to be able to look back and say, I didn't do something for a dollar or for the wrong motives, and it's always been about other people though. Like I love people. I love getting to know people and sharing and talking and getting to know other people's story. And so it's about people at the end of the day too. This is really, one of the things people used to always try to say, and one girl in particular who won a lot of things and she's no longer with us, but she and I did a little work together on and off. And she would always try to tell people, the fitness journey is it's so lonely and you're all by yourself. And I was always like, that wasn't my journey. I was not by myself. I had, but it was like, I didn't just seclude myself. And there were days that you have to do that, but I still enjoyed to be around people and I didn't allow, I can't do this because I got to do that. But I mean, I remember doing my fem camps a month before the Olympia stage sometimes. I'd be 10 days before I got on stage and be hosting one of my events. So you still can do things and you don't have to there's certain days, sure, that you have to seclude yourself. But I just never had a lonely journey. And I feel bad for people that, think that that's what they have to do or they hide because, they can't
isolate themselves.
But they're not able to think about blessing other people or benefiting others. It's just about themselves. And I think sometimes that happens in this industry with a lot of people that just, it's all about me and I'm just going to seclude myself because I can't handle helping or being in there for anyone else. So, but it doesn't sound like you ladies are like that. Or you, Stephen, of course, aren't. But
I wasn't a figure model either. I wasn't, did not do figure, but I probably would have. But it just goes to show me or tells me that the girl you were is the girl you are today, and you're thankful that she's come along for the ride. What about you, Abby? If you looked back and looked today, back forth and felt back, what would you say?
Right here, real quick, Abby. This is my first cover right here. 1994. I was 23.
Who's behind you?
Right. That was what is Dennis Newman, and he was the thing at that time. He had just won the USA.
The thing
was, and I didn't even know him. Like I had no idea who he was. It was a complete photo shoot. But he just won his pro card. He won the USA's. He won his pro card. And he was already a Weider contracted athlete already. Like he had already been signed with by Weider. So he was like the thing. And I didn't know when I went to do the photo shoot with the photographer. He's like, hey, can you stay an extra day and shoot? I want to shoot you with this guy. And I was like, okay. I didn't know what it meant. I'm like, sure. And here I'm on a cover. And my mom was funny. She was like, you don't have any pants on. A little leotard. I had my own clothes, my little leotard, and I did my own hair and makeup. My hair looks all frizzy, but it was a California look. So
You did. I'll
Amazing.
tell you something funny, which I said. My cousin, we are the same age. I've got a cousin.
oh yeah,
We are the same age. Same age, right? I'm 6 months older. They call me senior. They call him junior. I'm 56 in March. He's 56, I don't know, October. And we're named after my grandfather. So he's called Steve Georges. I'm called Steve Georges because right? So we're both named, right? But the funniest thing is he only discovered I had a podcast, no joke, or only about a few months ago, about a month or two ago. I go, oh, yeah. And he goes to me, and because he knew Flex, I knew nobody. Don't ask me why. I knew Flex. I knew Lee Haney. I knew Dorian Yates. I did not know Chris Cormier. I didn't even know, to be honest, without saying it, I didn't even know who Monica was because what's her name told me about you. I forgot her name here in Australia. I'm bad with names. But cut a long story short, he goes to me, Amy Fox. And that's where it all started, right? And he goes to me, he goes, I had a big crush on Monica Brant. I go, you know Monica Brant? He goes, Monica Brant? California girl, this girl, that girl, this girl, LA girl. I go, what? And I said to him, do you think you should be saying that with your wife sitting on the couch over there right now? So we're just having a great laugh. I mean, he was pretty cool, but he knew everything about Monica. And look, we're guys, he's saying she was a babe, and we're going on and on and on. And the guys are listening to this podcast and they want me to talk real. But
yeah.
But it was so funny how the world brings Monica Brant on my podcast about a year ago, right? So this is about a year later, here we are. And I'm thinking, wow, I didn't even know who Monica was. I got a cousin who's got a crush on Monica here in Australia, has posters of her. I'm like, and the whole world around is I get to meet her. And this is the biggest part. And then he messages me a few weeks ago to say it was Monica's birthday. He knows Monica's birthday. I don't. He goes, hey, did you know it's Monica's birthday today? I go, well, I'm going to be in the good books right now because I can say happy birthday to Monica. Hey, Monica, happy birthday. So it's just how funny the world works that, he's telling me about knowing Monica for so many decades. I know Monica only for a year. And he's telling me, it's a birthday today. And I'm going, happy birthday, Monica, And then, so it's just funny how the world works. But Abby, what about you when we're finishing off? Anything you think you could have learnt or you're glad you still carry on with?
I think looking back, the only thing I would say is especially as an amateur, the first 2 years competing, when I first started competing, I did it out of pure enjoyment, loved it. Then I started putting a lot of pressure on myself to get that pro card. And every time I didn't, it was disappointment and that sort of thing. And it was actually, so it was my 5th pro qualifier. They had taken out the physique round this year, which I thought was the stupidest thing. They brought it back, thankfully, for amateurs, but they took it out for amateurs. So we did 2 routines that day. You did a morning routine and then the same team routine at night, which was just
the same
kind of silly because you're literally judging the exact same thing. Why are we putting our bodies? It's not fun because you've already cooled down and then you've got to re-warm up and whatever. And I remember and the morning routine, I had people coming up that didn't know me saying how does it feel to be a pro? You definitely because they were only judging routine and and that night I had won the fitness short category, but they didn't give me the overall. And so it was almost this devastation because here, people are hyping you up and then you don't get it. And I remember that was my 3rd pro qualifier that season. And I was you know what? I can't end like this. I want to end enjoying a show because I had so much pressure on myself throughout the whole year. So last minute, there was North Americans, which is held in Pittsburgh. It was literally 2 weeks later. So kind of how Izzy, how you completely switched your routine, all that. I was I'm going to bring brand new routine, different music. And I went into that show and with the mindset and journaled and I was I'm doing this, going back to when I first started competing, I'm just doing this out of pure enjoyment. I remember just trying to connect with all of the girls there and just having a good time, still going and showing it, going and doing what I needed to do, but just making sure to enjoy all the moments leading up and actually being present on stage, doing the routine, doing what I love. And then funny enough, like that was the show that I got my pro card. And was probably the biggest show I competed in a pro qualifier in terms of girls. So like, it was definitely rewarding. And then that really switched my flip in terms of like, when I entered the pro leagues, I was like, from here on out, like I'm doing this because I love it. And I want to go out there and perform to like, obviously show my hard work, but also perform for the audience and like share my passion and like try to inspire others and that sort of thing. So that was something like, obviously it's almost something I can look back at, being thankful because I obviously learned from that and now I carry that with me. But yeah, that would be like one thing. And then obviously like kind of like Monica, like just being more protective of my energy, who I share my access to, and that sort of thing. Cause that can like completely, and it's again, with what I know about the nervous system, like can completely
flip,
mess with you mentally. And that mental stress is,
it messes with you in careers, in business. It messes with you everywhere.
Your whole life.
Relationships. It's we've got to really, really very cautious and trust our intuition and make some decisions. What about you, Izzy, in the short time? What have you learned? And what do you know now that you took back to 6 months ago?
6 months ago. It's crazy. I think outside noise is a huge thing. I think not letting external kind of opinions get to you, whether they're good or bad. And you just, it kind of again comes back down to protecting like your peace, protecting your own energy, and just knowing like who really to trust, and to take whether advice from or opinions from, because being in the gym, you'll have so many people that will come up to you and say, oh, like you're looking great. You look ready. You look like you're going to win, all this and that. And almost like, okay, yeah, they might seem like a compliment at the time. Realistically, it's not. It's part of that like outside noise. And then obviously you're gonna have people that will say like, oh, you're not ready, or there's this and that. So I just think like that is just another added stress. And the main thing being, I guess, just overall stress. The stress for me is such a huge thing, and something that I really, really want to work on and nail. And I think that's my biggest like learning experience, I'd say. So.
Well, that will definitely grow every year in a different way for you, and different stress will come on and you'll take what you learned over here and add it to that. You know, there's definitely a question that I don't miss, and it's are you ready? Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Are you ready? I'm like, no, but now you're making me feel like I should be ready, and I'm not. I don't need to be ready right now. I need to be ready in 6 weeks or whatever it is. You know, I remember that was always like, and I know people had good intentions. Yeah. You know, sometimes they don't know what else to say, or, you know,
they're just trying to add in their support in some way. Yeah.
And I remember coaching my girls in my events. I would coach them. I said, look, if someone comes up to you and says, wow, you look great. And, you know, and if you're getting ready for something, your first response may be, oh no. And you start complaining about maybe where you aren't ready or where your body's holding on to fat or something. I said, you have to allow people to compliment you and to be gracious and say thank you. Yeah. You don't need to explain that you are not ready here or you're not that there or whatever. I said, because now you've taken a compliment that someone gave you because they're inspired by you, and now you've de-inspired them. Yeah. They're not inspired anymore by you because now all of a sudden they were like, wow, you know, maybe that moment they saw you and in their mind, like you look like you could get on stage, and you know you're not stage ready, but you know, so I always try to prepare new competitors for those people that would come up and say that, and then you'd be in your mind going, well, I'm not really ready, and I have this and that, and I'm not, you know, like just say thank you and allow them to compliment you and to be inspired by you. Yeah. And you girls probably don't need to hear that, but I just remember sharing that does happen, and it's sometimes that first reaction of someone to say, well, I'm not here, I'm not there, and I'm not ready yet, or whatever I'm not. And, but as opposed to just saying, thank you. You know, it's like the compliment if someone says, well, your hair looks great. And you're like, oh, I didn't do anything with it. And it's just kind of messy. And you're like, just say thank you. Like
take it.
No,
Just
no.
take it.
because to them it looks great, and they're giving you a compliment. And people can't take compliments very well, I think, a lot of times, especially when we're trying to be, humble or something. And people all see something different, right? I was just talking to someone today, and I don't remember. I was just literally this came up, and I said, I told someone that they, their hair or something looked pretty on them, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I just had this," and then they looked and they were like, "Well, thank you," because it shocked them, because their first thought was like, "I don't." Anyways, it's just Anyways.
Well,
Okay.
I'll add to the thank you, and then we'll wrap it up. I learned from my ex-wife, but my daughter has it too, which it's so funny. I used to go, her name was Giselle. We'll just go with the name Giselle. That's her name actually. But I used to see it, or I said it to her. I go, "Oh, you look beautiful." And she'd go, "Thank you." And honestly, I used to sit there going, is there anything else? Like, is it that simple? But my daughter's the same. My daughter's 22, and she'll get in the car and go, "God, you look beautiful." She goes, "Thank you." And it's like, all right, let's move on. Let's move on now. Let's move on. But it's actually reassuring to move on. We don't have to sit in that place because it's done. Accept the compliment. And I've always believed myself too, what I learned is compliments don't come often. Trust me, you think they don't. When they do, grab them, move on. Like, just thank you. Thank you is a great word. You don't need to, anyone gives you one, got a compliment, you just say thank you. And I was like, aren't you going to say something like, "Oh, aren't you going to pull a face?" Like, really? Or it was like, "Oh, okay, we can move on now." So it was just that clean cut.
That's good for guys to hear that, because, and for women too, because women don't take compliments sometimes. And so men quit trying to compliment because they don't know if they're going to get in trouble or get in a big,
or it becomes a big conversation. Yeah.
Turns into an argument.
So guys end up, maybe scared to say something. So it's good. Like, just take the compliment but be thankful. Like, it's called vitamin G, gratitude. Like, be real about it, and you're right. They don't come that often.
They don't. But like I said, every time I've said it to my daughter, she says thanks, but she sincerely says thanks. But I just go like, "Oh, it's not that complicated. We can move on. Let's go. Where are we going now?" So it's wonderful. Where you're right. Guys might go, "Oh, do I have to explain?" No, the hair looks okay. No, I mean, yes. And
wait, you said, did you like it better yesterday or today?
Yeah. Like you go, "Oh my God, I'm in trouble now for what I just said."
Did you not like it yesterday? Or whatever?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well,
us girls. Yeah.
You know what? I want to say thank you to everybody. I hope this was...
You're welcome.
Yeah, this was an amazing podcast. Happy 30 years. And like I said, it's wonderful to see what you're doing and what's to come. I think, girls, it should inspire you that it's only the beginning, and it's constantly only the beginning. It never stops.
Yes, it's always the beginning.
It's always
every year, every time, every decade. Yeah, for sure.
Hey guys, another podcast done with another wonderful guest. They're all greats, no matter who they are. So to continue what we're doing and to keep supporting you and bringing the very best, if you could subscribe, hit the notification bell, press like, it only helps us to grow this channel even further. We really appreciate the support, and to go and find more all around the world. Bring them here to Muscle Talks podcast and share real, raw and honest conversation around a sport we love, bodybuilding. Please subscribe. Thank you for watching this podcast. Thank you for watching all podcasts. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, and continue watching us here on YouTube or listening to us here on Spotify.